Welcome to Cranky Live Sports Talk, where passion meets action.
Hey sports fans, I am Cranky, and this is the Cranky Live Sports Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the hottest topics, the biggest games, and the most controversial moments in sports.
Whether it's football, basketball, track and field, cricket, or soccer, we've got you covered with expert analysis, insider interviews, and unfiltered opinions.
Join me as I chat with the biggest names in sports, get exclusive insights and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Cranky Live Sports Talk is where you can hear the real talk, the hard-hitting questions, and the hottest takes.
So, if you're a true sports fanatic, you don't want to miss out? Subscribe now to the Cranky Live Sports Talk on YouTube and hit that bell icon to never miss an episode.
Cranky Live Sports Talk, where sports come alive. Subscribe today.
Buenos tardes, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Cranky Live Sports Talk, where we talk all things sports. Thanks for joining. Bless Up Float Management. Thanks for being here. Who else is in the chat before I commence? Appreciate everyone who had a chance to join us. And we'll have a really good discussion this evening. The main discussion topic is the JFF. I know my coat is giving me problem, people. I don't know why I have a coat on, but don't ask me. Because it's not cold in here. I'm trying to style. The JFF is the main topic, but we're going to talk about some other things. So, as you may have heard, Holland signed a contract today for 9.5 years. I don't know what I did, what my parents did, or what I didn't do. 9.5 years, people. I'm sure he's getting about $500,000 a year minimum. So 3 5 15 9 45. That's over 100 million pounds, not even dollars. I mean, it worked out to be about a $160 million contract, I would assume, if you do 15 times 9. Yeah, about that. 10, 11, 12% difference between the pound and the dollar. So a lot of money, people, a lot of money. What do we do with all that money? You can only buy so much cars, you know. You can only buy so much cars and so much houses and fly so much private jet. I always wonder what people like Elon Musk do with their money, because maybe that's why he's in politics. Big up, Ernest. Thanks for joining. I may have to take off this coat, people. I don't know why I have it. Don't ask me why I have it on. I can't really explain that. I just have, you know what? In fact, I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna change. So I'm gonna block my camera for 2 seconds and revisit this. This is not a good idea. But I'll talk while I'm doing this. So we're gonna talk. You guys can tell me if you want to talk JFF. JFF media, the conference they had today to talk about some other stuff. The media, the press conference. You guys want to talk about it? Because I'll put this on the right thing. Because I was in that press conference today. I think I joined about 10, 11 minutes late. It was a good press conference, actually, to announce the launch of their JFF Live. So if you want me to play that and listen, or you just want me to go on with what I'm here to talk about, then this show is about you. So, by the way, when I'm playing the no like tonight, Cranky's back. The old Cranky's back. We're not playing the no like. So if you not give me a like, I'm miserable. I tell you right now. Boy, float. I run into some problems, float. The jacket show was supposed to be this week, float, and what happened is, and one of my friends who was in the chat can tell you, I was trying to put together this presentation for this show, and I was putting together. I am about 70% done with the jacket show, I think, or 60% done. I decided to move to Monday. I was talking to a person who's going to be a guest on my show, not for this show, and they wanna view the show. They were from another country, not Jamaica, and they wanted to view it. They're gonna be my guest at some point. Actually, a person who's done really, really well, and I'm hoping to get them on in the next 2 weeks. We had a conversation today, and part of the discussion was about that show. So I'm gonna do it Monday. Monday at 8 p.m. sharp. That's a promise. What's the norm? Oh no, but no, it took some of these things take longer to put together than the people. These I don't do shows where it takes, I don't do maverick thing. I don't come on and just talk on top of my head and just, oh, bad mind. Let me talk about bad mind. Oh, paternity. Let me talk about paternity issues, and just talk for 10 minutes and then get some viewership and done. That's not me. If I'm going to do it, I want to do it right. I got to go do research. I got to go get information. I got to get pictures if I can get videos. And I've been trying to source videos, but I keep writing to like Reuters and all these people on CNN to be able to get access to videos and find out what the subscription fee is. And sometimes you don't get any answer. To me, I always miserable. That's not true, but I'm miserable tonight, though. Doing that on Trump's Day. Trump ain't got, I don't, should I comment on that? I didn't vote for Trump. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'll never be a Trump supporter. So whatever day he has, it doesn't really matter to me. Now I'll do show on him because he gets views, but I'm not a Trump supporter. So I don't care what he does when he does it. Excuse me, that's something just popped up on my phone. Yeah, it has nothing to do with me. So yeah, I'm doing 8 o'clock Monday. So if Trump has is that when he's gonna be speaking? I don't know when he's doing his thing. I haven't even thought about it. I haven't been watching CNN since the election is done, and I watch it quite a bit during the election. I haven't watched any of those news channels. I've been too busy trying to get things done for you guys, but I don't get the appreciation a lot of times because 17 likes and 34 watching. And a friend of mine may be in the chat, and he knows how much effort I put in. So, and he and I, he keeps pushing me. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this. And I'm thinking, if I don't get a return on my investments, I can't do it. Monday the 20th, yes, I'm doing it on Monday the 20th. Martin Luther King Day. I'm doing the jacket thing. I'm doing it on the 20th. Anybody know? If you know, watch it then. Watch it later. Watch it on the 21st. But I'm doing the 20th, and I think it's going to be a good show. It's going to be a good show. I'm getting data, getting information, trying to get dinged for no copyright stuff, but it will be a good show. It'll be a good show. It'll be a fun show, actually. And people should call in for that show, Talk about your personal experiences. If you have gotten bun and cheese to that, because if you have one, a bun cheese that you get the whole store, your man get 3 or 4 jackets, whole store that you get. So yeah, but I'll be doing it on Monday. So you guys tell me, you want to talk about the JFF press conference today? Do I play anything on it? Or you want me to just jump into what I want to talk about tonight? You guys decide tonight. It's your show, I'm just a facilitator. I'm just a messenger. So tell me what you want to do. Because I have nothing to talk about the JFF. In fact, this is a subset of the press conference, a subset of it, but not a big subset. So I'm not telling me what I want to do. Me jump for Owen. Me have bad knees, jump in whatever you have prepared. Okay, good. All right, so the man said if we stop the JFF thing, no JFF press conference, let's jump into what I'm prepared. All right, my jump on my prepared people. I have to take out the JFF press conference because I have it set up, But be careful. Me don't know what careful means, master. Me don't like careful business. I am not in the careful. I didn't have to take the JFF thing off, I'm not in the careful business. So, okay, people, so let's start. So the last time I was here, I expressed, this is going to be a long discussion, by the way. So prepare for it. Get your water, get some coffee if you can't stay up late. And sit back. I encourage you to drink no liquor. So the last time I was here, I talked about the JFF. And I was going to talk about, because it was more of a beating show, right? I talked about JFF. It was more about beating. The chairman of the technical committee, I got to get his title right. Was in the chat making some derogatory comment, then came on. We had a very interesting conversation, and we haven't communicated since, which is probably a good thing. Bless up, Ted Dexter. Thanks for joining. And so I decided to come back again, as my good person Troops has said. We're back again. Some cable thing we do, but we have put a spin on it. Because we don't only come for beating, we come for teach though. We don't come for beat alone, we come for teach. It's a combination thing we do. We just run and promote, and then we have no perspective, no advice, and not give them flowers. You have to give flowers, people. You have to give flowers. So we'll talk first, and then we can call in and give them a perspective. So I decided that I'm going to do an assessment of the JFF, provide what they do well, and provide what they don't do well in terms of failures, opportunities, and then if we have any recommendation, we give to them. And you know, some of them said, "No, listen to it." Them listen to it. Trust me, them listen to it all the time. And they can't on their back like football guru. Let me listen. So let's start the discussion, people. Let's start the discussion. Tell me if you can read that, because sometimes might just something take time. Tell me if you can read that. And I can't read that. I mean, if you can't read it, let me try to increase it. If I can't read it, tell me if you can read that. If not, I'm gonna make it full screen, and then me can't see you. I'll take the comment now. And I can't read that. I mean, if I can't read that first, but me go no further. I don't have to say yes or no, enough people. Just type yes or no. Now go right to the finger. Can you guys read that? Yes or no? I am the Fyah Man. Yeah, then you can't see that. I'm me upon the mic. Let me go back. I don't know what you asked the question for. You know, see, I'm me upon the mic. There must be a Fyah Man. Cableton is the imitator. I'm the Fyah Man. Me the Fyah Man. And the Fyah Man. No. That's just saying it's a symbolic picture. The Fyah Man is a good thing in terms of the successes and things you have done. So you put out the fire, push down on it, and then real fireman at Cableton, and then may I do the fire from the let's say in the magnifying glass. May I do the fire from a mic. So man, all right, tell me if that better now. Is that better? Let me know if that is better, because you said the other one magnifying glass. Come on, tell me if that is better. I can even take out the picture now. If I come out the picture, it's get bigger. You know what? Maybe that too. Maybe if I come out the picture, is that? Let me just see if it's better now. Is that any better or still magnifying? Come on, more people see too. Yeah, let me know if you can see that now clear. You can't see that, man. Because me can't see it on my screen. So if you can't see it, come off your phone and go on one tablet. You can't see that. I can see that clearly now. You can't see that. Oh, no, I can see it. I have my iPad up, and I'm seeing it. Is it much better float, or is just need to be bigger? Because I can actually expand the screen, but then I won't be able to see the comments. Is legible? Oh, all right. No, okay. So let's talk through this, please. Let's talk through this. If I can't see it, magnify your phone. Can't see it, magnify your phone. I apologize for that, but it's hard to get all of this information in. And before we start, I need to get the slide myself and put it someplace else, because it's sometimes a little bit bigger. Sometimes it is a little bit bigger. So no, bear with me, people, bear with me. Bear with me 1 second. Let me pull this up. I spent some time, a lot of time today, as somebody in the chat. Yeah, well, I think he's in the chat. Can attest to. So want to make sure that you can. If I spend all this time doing that, you can see. Okay, if you can't see it, that's a problem. All right, so let's go through this, people. Let's go through this. It's important to go through this. So the JFF has had some successes in certain areas. So the overall programming is more financially stable. As I said, they're now taking chartered jets versus flying commercial and flying over the place, which was not good for players. They're able to pay their bills. If you notice that they have been able to reduce their financial numbers. I'll go to the finance numbers, but they've been able to have surpluses a couple of years in a row. So financially, they're in a good place. We'll go to the finances on the next page. The GenSec, who is Dennis Chung, remember when I first started talking about this, maybe I come on this program maybe 5-6 years ago. I think it was mainly during COVID. Most of the discussion was about corruption in the JFF. A lot of it. And even Raymond, when he was running for office, sort of indicated that in a sense. He didn't explicitly say what that entailed. But we have all had concerns. I never called anyone corrupt because I don't, unless I have evidence, I can't say that. But people had concerns about shenanigans. And also FIFA did actually. And that's why JFF is still on financial restrictions, especially how they traveled. Because when you travel and you get per diem, if you're also a match official, you get money for match officials, you get paid double pay people. And I was told that more recently, that used to happen frequently. And Dennis has sort of put controls in place around that, right? In terms of coaching program, that as you hear Rudolph Speed come and talk about, him have A license, about 4 or 5 people have A license. They have this program for D license. They're going to be running, government sponsored. They have the talent development ecosystem program for youths, for elite youths. So they have done a good job of engaging FIFA to get money or trying to improve the coaching. They've revised some of their statutes to align with FIFA. We'll touch upon that. The player engagement, the problems we have with the girls in 23, that seemed to have dissipated in a better place. And then with the men's team, you remember Paul Hall time, Tapa time, and then subsequently Manning's man and others going to the JFF. I think Simon and Manning's probably went about similar times. We have seen less issues around that. Addition of we have added a new marketing person who I interviewed the other day. If you haven't seen that interview, go watch it. She's very impressive. And then Simon has been promoted to run the sort of media department. So both of those individuals, one is 25, one is 31, are youngsters, and they have a few more youngsters in some good roles. I wouldn't say key per se, but good roles. And they have improved player welfare, whether it's hiring a chef, whether it's going chartered flight. So they have had less player issues. So those things they have done well, and the other things which we'll touch upon as we go through the discussion. But there's some things which haven't gone well. So let's touch upon those too. As indicated here, obviously JFF have faced a lot of criticism historically about transparency, inconsistent leadership, and governance issues. And that's really affected the program. And if you look at it today, what would you say? Well, there's a lack of succession planning for certain key areas and lack of infusion of new talent on the board and executive leadership. Now, I should make one thing transparent. I did do some research to get some of this information, people. I didn't just come here and give it to you and just talk. I engaged a JFF to get some of this information, ask them pertinent questions about certain things, challenge certain things, and try to substantiate what I could substantiate. So it's not me just coming here and just talking on top of my head. Not everything here they have signed up. In fact, they haven't signed off anything. Not everything here has come from them. A lot has come from what I've seen, what I know, what I've been providing from different sources that I can authenticate what they've said. So I should make that clear up front that this means that I don't pull some of these things out of a hat, actually. All right, a lot of this is actuality. But some things I could not confirm as gospel. So, for example, I haven't seen the FIFA alignment with their code of ethics, but they've talked about, right? And I've been given that information. So I got to be transparent on those things. Obviously, I've talked, and so there's a lack of succession planning, which is a problem. There's a bunch of old people around the JFF. Period. I looked at the board before when I was doing this. The board has about 13 people. What the number is? If the one on the website is updated, and by the way, I did inform Avery, who is a new marketing person, that they need to update their website because some information there is dated. But there is a lack of succession planning and lack of infusion of new leadership, which we'll touch upon later. And that's a problem, actually, because we need, look, if you have the same people, we had Raymond on the board for God knows how, for donkey years, and he couldn't come up with one thing he could do well. That's why I didn't support him for the election. He couldn't name one thing he has accomplished for the whole time he was there for donkey years, which is ridiculous. Because when you build your resume, obviously you work in teams, but if you're the leader, you got to be able to articulate what you've accomplished, and I couldn't hear anything. I won't go through conflicts a ton, but we're going to talk about it more. Conflicts are not appropriately managed by the president and the board, so let me call this out. And I've gotten information on this. And Rudolph Speed has come on this channel talking about, FIFA has audited and agreed and is fine with my conflict. I've done the minimum. FIFA is not fine with Rudolph Speed conflict. Let me say this again, people. And tell some people. And tell me I do work, I used to be out of 10, so I do more work. When I come to talk about Rudolph Speed, you're incorrect. FIFA is not fine with you having those conflicts that you have. That's an inappropriate statement. And so here we get into problem now, Cranky. What I'm going to say now is, I can't say it's factual because I have sources, but I haven't talked to FIFA. But my understanding is that the decision about Speed's conflict and how it resolved and was managed sits with Mr. President, Michael Ricketts. He has to make the decision. FIFA can't do it. He has to do it. But don't let anybody tell that FIFA is fine with the conflict, as Rudolph been telling people. That's not true. My understanding is, from my source, it's not true. The conflict management, and I've talked to multiple people about this. I won't say which people I've talked to, but multiple people about this. Wasn't one person. They've all said the same thing. It is the president who has to address the conflict. FIFA is not fine with it, frankly. So when Rudolph come here talk about FIFA audited and they audit the conflicts, and you don't know what we're talking about, Cranky, nonsense. As related to the quota system, FIFA is my understanding that FIFA want the MAs to play their best players. I'm not sure they're going to get involved when it relates to quotas and all that, but they want MAs to play their best players. So, when we talk about these things, and I'm not sure anybody has gone to FIFA about this, and maybe that's something that should be done, but the JFF is not, as I talked about before on the last show, is not adhering to its constitution. It's not adhering to the Jamaica Constitution. It's not adhering to the FIFA guidelines. It's not adhering to anything. It's discriminatory, and it's wrong, and it's exclusionary. It's not inclusive. And I can, as I did the last time, I'm going to show it again. We can point to where that's inappropriate given the requirements of the Jamaica Constitution and JFF Constitution, and it have to go. So we'll talk about that. Certain personnel, I don't know me I talk about, have autonomy for certain activities without the requisite checks and balances. You can't have people who can do anything they want and nobody can tell them anything, and there's no recourse and they can't be challenged. And last week I had some discussion with somebody who is in the know, and I don't think people sometimes realize or understand some of the engagement that take place and how they get resolved or don't get resolved. So in essence, the accountability and transparency in terms of there's a lack of accountability and transparency. I'm gonna give you an example. For the under 20, nobody has owned that. We close our eyes and move on. But everybody owns when the under 14 win in the Caribbean. But the under 20 played outside the Caribbean. The under 14 and the women's team didn't play outside the Caribbean. So when I get information from some sources that says, well, look what we have done here, I'm starting the JFF, I basically says, I don't know what the competition you're focused on, but that's not what I'm focused on. Because we should be doing better. Now, my recommendation is this, because obviously, if I'm going to have all these critique, I have a suggestion. They're pretty broad. So the JFF needs to conduct a comprehensive assessment of all key functions within the organization to ensure each function is operating at the required standard. It looks like all we have done so far, from what I've seen in terms of that assessment, bless up Devon, is the assessment of the financial controls that we have in place and some other controls, workplace policies being put in place, right? And when you do your assessment, you got to benchmark it against, you got to benchmark each function. You got to have some barometer, some criteria, benchmark it against. And part of it has to look at, do we have the right people and do we have the right processes? Something the JFF does. You need to adhere to your constitution. Let's get rid of it. And if you do, then you're not in line with FIFA, because FIFA is the one make you enhance the constitution and not adhering to it. So it's a FIFA discussion to be had, actually. Okay, not adhering to it. And then I have another suggestion, which is probably more a bit tangible, which is explore digital transformation and strategic partnerships with global football entities. I don't think we have enough of those. I heard Speed last time say he has a MOU, I guess, with Watford. He keeps saying he has a book. He has a Rolodex. He can just call anybody. I don't hear nobody get called. I don't hear the JFF apart from discussion with Trinidad and engagement with Trinidad. I don't hear him talk about, you know what? I talked to Spain. I talked to Saudi Arabia. I talked to the UK. I talked to Belgium. I don't hear any of that. What I hear is more localized discussion, which with people who have worse situation than JFF does. So to me, that's not logical, right? It has to be better. Continue with governance and administration. And don't worry about the funds, people. I had to make this bigger so you can see it, because the other one, it was a lot of information on the page. I didn't want to separate the recommendation page from the rest of it. Strategic planning. So planning is done or being done for certain areas, but appears to be distributed. There's no holistic planning. And to think about it, if you think about it developmentally, there's a lack of strategic planning that covers all aspects of the program for the next 4 to 5 years. If you want to know what a strategic document look like, look at Spain, for example. So my suggestion, they leverage strategic planning documents. Go copy. You know, people in school, them copy and just change the name. Go copy and change the name. There's something you may not be able to achieve, getting other resources. Go copy and change the name, people. Copy and change the name. Do something. We say we had, I have had discussion and was told they have plans, but there's no comprehensive plan that talks about all aspects of football. The coaching, the technical element, the youth development, the finances. There's no one document. You can go get Spain's document that give you a holistic perspective on the football program, including everything. The technical element of it, the style of play, all of that. Nothing. It's not there. And then on the governance and administration, last but not least, is the funding today is mainly from FIFA sponsors, the government, and then you have more what I call earnings, which are not guaranteed, which is prizes you get from winning tournaments. So we did well in the Nations League. We played in the Copa. You don't get money, right? But that's not guaranteed, because if you don't win, you ain't gonna get those prizes. And then we have gate receipts, and frankly, the gate receipts was not great until more recently, given the last few games we played in Jamaica and crowd came out. So you weren't getting a lot of gate receipts. Now we'll talk later about what JFF is trying to do about subscription and the $10 thing, which I've expressed my perspective on that already, both in the press conference and subsequently. So I think there are opportunities for the JFF to increase funding from stakeholders, sponsors, fans, merchandising. And I think what they need to do is sit down and think about, you know what, which they're doing in some respects, I must admit, is think about what are all the various revenue sources. And this should be cost benefit, people. I was rushing. COTS should be COST. I was rushing at the last minute. It should be a cost beneficial assessment as to, you know what does it take for me to go and generate this revenues? Is it worth my while? Will it be substantive enough? And what's going to cost me to do so? So it has to be cost beneficial. And also it has to be something you can achieve. So for example, the more recent discussion, which I didn't add here, which was held today about showing the games, at least the JFF Live is trying to improve its platform, make it much more something which is revenue generating. They'll have subscription, which is $10 a month. Let me say something, people, but I said that today. $10 a month may not be a lot for some people, you know. It's like I throw your money, because I subscribe to both. I subscribe to ESPN because I want to watch like FA Cup. I subscribe to Peacock. I subscribe to Paramount. I subscribe to a whole heap of things. Apple, the holistic Apple package. But you're talking about people in Jamaica paying the equivalent of $10 who may not have it. Our kids paying, when I watch it on the tablet, $10, they may not have it to put every single month. And people may say it's throw your money. Yes, it's throw your money, but it all adds up, right? So end of the day, if I'm paying $7, $8 for ESPN and the same for Paramount and the same for Peacock, and they give me a lot of stuff. Peacock will give you movies. It gives you EPL games. It gives you other sports and other games. Why are you charging $10? First of all, it's not a first world country. You guys keep telling me that. So JFF telling me they don't have any money. They're poor. Not they don't have any money, but it's a poor country. Some people say it's not poor. You know, there's not enough trickle-down effect. But why would you charge $10? You hear me express my concern today for a product which is not going to be where you're going to get a lot of content throughout the month. It's not like people can get content every day and a lot of content. They may have discussion. $10 to me is way too much, because they can't show you CONCACAF games. They can't show you, I'm not sure they can show you World Cup qualifiers. So what's the $10 for? Now, I did suggest, and hopefully it's considered, that they allow YouTubers to get access to the content, maybe for a fee, right? So look, they got to generate money. Football program is expensive, but yeah. I know what they're saying about YouTube. Maybe I'm not buying it. So I don't know what maybe I'll do some investigation on that. I just don't understand that, actually. I don't understand that. No, and look, it's not as if they're building out the platform like Peacock or Paramount does, right? Because it's very expensive. That's why the EPL hasn't done it. Because I hear Simon Jordan suggesting that EPL should do it, which is you build your own platform for streaming. You don't leverage no YouTube or no other streaming service or no other cable network or television network or radio programs. You build your own infrastructure and then you stream. So you could charge $5, and if it's 1 billion people watch, that's $5 billion right away, right? That's how some people think about it. They're leveraging YouTube. They're not doing much except need to be on the scene. So I don't know. So if you can add up, even if you're in the US, I have Hulu with a promo for $3, Peacock for $2. Yeah, Peacock for $2 DC. You tell me what you're doing. I pay more than $2 for Peacock. But the point I'm making is that I'm not getting a ton of content for $10. I support and advocate for what they're doing because I'm the one criticizing them for not thinking about all revenue sources, right? But start small, and if the content gets to a certain point where there's demand, you increase it. You just think about it. Say you charge $10 and get 100 people. Maybe you charge $5, you get 500 people. I know we had 60,000 people watch a game the other day, or 60,000 views for the games that they played in Montego Bay. So that's an encouragement for them. So they may say 60,000 times 10 is 600,000. YouTube take their 35, 40%, right? We get 360,000. That's maybe how they're thinking. But I just think, and that's for one event, I admire what they're doing. I think it's the right direction because I can't come here and be a hypocrite when I'm saying they need to increase the revenue source, but I struggle with it. AC saying, I was saying to say, why $10? I pay $10 for Peacock a month, booms and football. Yeah, that's the point. That's the fight. Netflix and Spotify can add up for $10 per month each. Yeah, but we're comparing JFF Live with Netflix and Amazon. You know what you get on Netflix? You get everything on Netflix. You get Mike Tyson a fight. You get everything on Netflix. And Netflix has improved materially. That's why they can increase they've improved their content. We're talking about a channel which will have what? JFF Football? You think about it. I don't know what else they're going to have there. They probably get interviews with players and all that. And look, as I said before, this is not a criticism in terms of what they're trying to do. It's a criticism about the starting point they charge. What's Guna saying? How is that the minimum? Is $9 a month. The owner of the channel says the membership price, I thought. Yeah, I don't know how to work. Yeah, I don't. They're saying that's what YouTube does hard. I don't know. Yeah. When you is it a membership? I don't know if it's the same as a traditional subscription or membership, Jason Gooden. We'd have to find out nuances or what's behind that construct when you do a subscription type, because obviously there'd be a lot of traffic on the channel, and that's what YouTube wants, between viewership and between what they're gonna get from subscription. Yeah. So a lot of comments on the $10. $10 is a steep chip for especially a non-FIFA game. I will pay to support JFF its venture, but $10 much. I have a Paramount Peacock and it's $10 a month, but $8 each this year. Yeah, and that's that. Yeah. And that's the point I'm making, people. And then people from saying, here you go, cranky. You criticize JFF for not generating revenues, and then you're criticizing them for generating revenues. Yeah, but you can't be fleecing your own people. Well, let me not use the word fleece. Let me rephrase that, people. Throw that out. I'll cut that. You have to be considerate of the content you're providing, the value you're providing, and the economics of your subscriber, your audience, and your base. You're saying this is for Jamaicans. Half the population is in Jamaica. Let's say people in the US and England can't afford it. $10 enough money. England at £8, US at $10, right? But it adds up because, as everyone is saying, they do Peacock, Paramount, and they want to watch all the games. I don't want to spend all the time on these people, but they need to revisit that. So whoever is there doing this, Crank said revisit it. I did bring it up in the press conference, people, and I didn't want to belabor the point, but I do think whoever did the initial pricing, because right after that, I sent a text to somebody, and during the press conference, I'm like, charge $5. Charge $5. You're below all the major networks in terms of what they're requesting. Right? Charge $5. I can't believe you're charging $10. I got to think about it. No, it's not right. Yeah, I know, but Press, I'm not sure the same membership concept actually. You guys know more than me because I'm still trying to figure out this YouTube out. I'm not sure the same membership concept that we have for YouTube channel. By the way, do you think I should have a membership thing? And by the way, people, in the next 4 months, I'm not getting on news now. But when it happen. I'm not got Josh, but not tell me if we should have a membership too. Well, I used to subscribe to One Spot Media. I forgot what they charged, but it wasn't overly exorbitant. And they would charge money for champs, right? They'll charge like a $10 for first day and then increase it. But they really want champs, and champs are one-off event. But yeah, it's a monthly subscription, and that means it's $120 a year now. I know Dennis is doing the math. I'm getting excited about the math, but Dennis suggests you revisit the math. Do a 3-prong scenario. Best case, worst case, and some average situation, Dennis. Don't go with $10. By the way, people, it's 80 people in the live and 44 likes. My motor hurt me, man. Can't talk much of it. The likes not coming out. Michael Gordon says $3.99 a game. Yeah. Well, no, what they're saying is that they'll have games, they'll have highlights, they'll have other items on the JFF Live that you can view and see and read. And that takes a lot of maintenance too, to do that actually. Because I'm thinking about doing something and it takes a lot of maintenance and a lot of manual input. Not manual input, but people input. So we'll see how that goes. Bless up, Jeremy. Thanks for listening, Jeremy. I know you're on the job. Don't let the boss do nothing to you, don't know. We're on the job. So let's go to the next item. This is about finances. I got to say that now because it's not showing at the top. So let me just say that it's about finances. So for finances, look, I have to give Dennis Chung credit, who is the new GenSec, he's not new anymore. He's been there a few years now. He has instituted much better controls over governance and oversight and over the management of JFF finances, which we all wanted, which we all advocated for, which we all support, right? He has done a really good job of doing that. And I can tell because, when you hear people that squeal about certain things, they know it. Say management that did something right. And you hear people in the background that squeal about them can't do this and them can't do that. They know the person who run things that do right. Now, Dennis may like not me saying this, but I think Dennis has he probably will let me say it. I think Dennis may have a 3-year contract in it because about it's 30 year now. So I want to say this publicly to Dennis. When your time up, the end of this year, or somewhere close to the end of this year, you can't afford to leave the JFF. Okay, if you leave the JFF, we'll go back to normal. We'll have pandemonium again. We'll have players not happy because the baggage not delivered, them suitcase not delivered, the girls, them suitcase gets left. We need people who understand risk and controls, who understand governance and policies and procedures, and effectuate them, put them in play, and they work. We need that. So Dennis, you can't go nowhere. Because even though we may beat you sometime, I beat you sometime, the job you're doing in a lot of different areas, and we'll touch upon some of those, is really, really good in terms of direction of travel and progress. Right? So therefore, Dennis, you can't go away. As indicated here, the JFF had surpluses, $46 million in 23, $106 million in 2024. By the way, people, this is Jamaican dollars. I don't know talk about say boy, them have Elon Musk money. These are Jamaican dollars. $46 million in 23, $106 million in 24. I'll explain what that entails. And over the last 2 years, they have addressed issues with they had the problem with the girls after the World Cup and players like Robert Morrison saying they're not getting paid. They have addressed those issues, right? Because when you have money, there's those issues. And the analogy you should think about and the comparison you should think about is Trinidad, for example. I may have a friend who don't like me saying this, but Trinidad have money problems, people. Big time money problem. And you know what? When you have money problem, you can't get certain things done. Just think about sometimes your personal situation. When you have money problem, the woman leave because dollars not run, she can't do it on broke, man. Well, it's the same thing with football. Players don't want to come play if they're not going to get their money, or if it's not even a money issue, they don't want to come in an environment where they don't feel comfortable. So Dennis has done a really good job of making sure a number of things. Now when he says surplus there, so here's the analogy we use with surplus. So you have your finances, you have a bank account with some money, you have a house, have a value to it, you have a car, a value to it, you have some stocks, right? And it add up. Say add up to $100,000. Get a number. And then you have debt. I couldn't think about it. So you have debt. You have mortgage on the house, right? So the house, the cost of the house, what is the cost? Not the value of the house. The cost of the house is, say, $50,000. Every other asset you have up to $100,000, right? So that's your assets. Now, the mortgage on the house, you know, in fact, I'm going to use value. So the mortgage on the house is $150,000 because your house depreciate, even though in this environment now happen. But so the house price go down, right? So your assets 100,000, but your house price is, what you owe the bank is 150,000. That means you're 50,000 in the hole, right? $50,000 in the hole. Now that's called negative equity. And they do have negative equity of about, I think it's about 100 million now, actually. But the reason why the surplus is different is that, think about you working and you have a salary. So somebody make I make 200,000, you know, say I make $100,000 a year. And your regular expenses that you have, the light bill, the gas bill, the car note, for the whole year, so come up to 70,000. So you make 100,000 for the year. You have 70,000. We have to pay your next expenses during the year. Your 30,000 that you have left, 100 minus 70, is your surplus, which is what they have. So the operating income, net income, on the one side you have your normal everyday activities where you're making money and you're spending dollars. On the other side, where the assets where you have money in the bank, the stock that you have, the host and what the value is. They're not separate, one and the two. Money, the surplus will go into the books if they do it the right way, if you reduce the 50,000 that I mentioned before, they're in the hole. Eventually, if you keep on having surplus and you put that money in a kitty, eventually that surplus will go away and you're in a positive position. Now, when I spoke to them, the land they have, for example, you know, they have the training center, it's recorded at what they call cost. So what them pay a feed. So them pay $100,000 feed. But say today we're at $400,000. It's an accounting thing. So they could be out of that $100,000 deficit, 100 million negative equity number, right? It depends. So, but anyway, just to try to explain, hopefully in layman's term, what that entails. They also have a tax compliance certificate in place and tax payments are up to date. So from a tax standpoint, they're also in a good place, which is always important because the worst thing you want is to be like Rangers, where taxman just shut it down. You know, Rangers in Scotland got shut down a number of years ago. It's not a good thing. And the one point I mentioned here that they need to do is diversify the income stream, or the revenue source, I should say, which we talked about before, right? Which they're trying to do with the subscription, but $10 too much. Now, in terms of budget management, I have no suggestion for them. I think they've done a good job in terms of budget management. It appears that they have better oversights, better procedures, budgets are done timely. And I've got this from multiple sources about travel arrangement, maybe 2 or 3 sources, actually, to be frank, about how much the traveling has improved, especially for World Cup qualifiers and Nation League games. Got them private. Now let's go to the next slide. So in terms of transparency and accountability, look, they have more press conference to talk about more things, so that's much more transparent. The audited financial statements, which is on their website for 2023, when we had this discussion with Dennis about 2 years ago, they used to issue this like a year and a half after the fact, because they had the excuse about the board has to approve it, and the board only do it on an annual basis. Some, I'm going to say gibberish, frankly. Now, I went to look at it the other day. I went through the entire financial statements, and they used to have a very bad opinion. They have 3 sets of opinion. They're now in the middle, which is still not great, but they get much better, right? And there's much more overt stakeholder engagement and much more transparency than we had before. I still think transparency and especially accountability, they have addressed partially. There needs to be more of that. And if you guys want me to elaborate, but there needs to be more transparency and accountability. And I've actually had some discussion with some people to say, you got to do more because it's the prime time to do more. Now, the last thing on finance I would say is this, in terms of FIFA and government funding. You know, FIFA give the JFF, I think, about $2 million annually. People can dispute the number, but it's about $2 million annually. When I look at the financials, it appears to be about $2 million annually, or maybe a little bit more. They also get money for the TDS program, which is separate from the FIFA $2 million. And as you heard previously, when the girls were complaining about not getting funding to go to Australia for the World Cup, the government does provide the JFF with periodic payments, actually. So they get money from FIFA and they get money from the government, along with, I mentioned before, the gate receipts they get and the sponsorship from Adidas and all that. Now, all FIFA funding opportunities have not been fully exploited. For example, so on a year, this is a news, you know, to some people. Some people will know this. It's a news. I've been told, I've been told by good source, and by the way, it wasn't contradicted by some other sources I checked with, but I didn't put it that way, that there's $3 million US, you know, we put US as a people, $3 million US in an account that the JFF cannot access because of the continuing financial restrictions imposed by FIFA. Now, my understanding also is that, and this is really strange, nobody knows where the money they from. Nobody knows where the money they come from or we got there. That's my understanding. I can't dispute no one. No pressure. We're not Jamaican dollar. Take the 3 times 15, so it's 450 million Jamaican dollars. If you want to cut 3 times 155, I said 3 times 15 about 45, 450 million. I think that is. Yes, no, that's real money. That's real money. That's real money. That's real money, people. Real money. That is sitting in a bank account. I wonder if it's an interest-bearing account. I don't know. No, I don't have that nitro on Adidas. And I don't want to stay focused, people. Because of course, me jump over the place too much. I stay targeted. Don't get me distracted. If you ask question, ask me in the confines of this. Even though nitro is really in the confines. I don't know what they didn't disclose the contract with FIFA because I spoke to someone there and they said that it's confidential. Right? It's confidential. But you know what I'm going to do? It's confidential, but you can actually try to figure it out, people. It's not overly difficult. I did look at it. I should come up with a number. So if you go to JFF financial statements and it talks about sponsorship, they have about 4 or 5 sponsors, right? I probably should have shown it already. About 4 or 5 sponsors. The major one is Adidas. Grace gave a little money here. Ray Navy gave a little money here. But the main one is Adidas. And you could probably work out the number from the 23 financials. And 24 probably come out in the next 4 or 5 months, I would think. So, yeah. But there is a big number. I was also told by a very good source. So we know them huge people. People want to get information. And this is an interesting one. I don't want to put too much onus on this yet, but it's an interesting one. I was told by a good source that there was a major financial institution that wanted to sponsor some youth football in Jamaica, was willing to contribute I won't say the number, a significant amount to do so. And the person was working it was told that the JFF has what they call anti-money laundering concern, meaning they're concerned about the source of the money. And you know what the US is when it comes to those things. Anti-money laundering means the money may not be coming from a good source. It may be illicit money, so they can't pursue it. But I can tell you this, if it's true, that's nonsense, because the institution, even though they may have AML problems like every bank does, is a major global financial institution. So I was told this. I'm not going to say in confidence, the person told me, so they didn't say I couldn't talk about it, but I'm not going to specify any detail because I haven't been able to substantiate it, but it's from a good source who gave me some of the information you hear me talking about. So I thought that was interesting. But at $3 million, we go a long way. Because they get the $3 million, I don't know if it's interest-bearing account. I mean, if it's interest-bearing account in today's environment, if you put it into a CD, I think rates have dropped. You get both. Depends on where the money is. Is it in Jamaica or is it overseas? If in the US, you can get 3.5%, 4% for your money. Not bad money. 4 3s, 12, 120,000 on it. So it's been sitting there for a little while now. Now, I think Dennis did say that FIFA is going to audit, is going to perform an audit pretty soon, and they hope to get the financial restrictions lifted, because most of the most of the restriction that FIFA had on finances was related to how they traveled, actually. So people know the travel was being abused significantly. Travel means you can't come to the US and come shop, And I said, nobody come to the US come shop, but you can draw your own conclusion as to why FIFA would want to restrict them, mainly because of travel situation. You can tell that it probably wasn't being abused. In terms of, so we just go to coaching and technical now, because this is an important segment. Let's go to coaches, to coaching and technical. So we have had, obviously, I give them credit for, they have had seasoned head coaches for both men and women's team. Busby, McLaren working part-time, Freddie Butler under 17 for boys. Mainly local coaches for the other national teams. They have increased coaching badges requirements, and as you see, for example, requirements as related to the JPL. And also, they have a number of people have acquired the A license. And also, coaching courses, more courses have been made available to local coaches, right? So that's important. So what are my considerations here in terms of going forward? I've said this the last time. We have had 5 national coaches that have left the program in the last 2 years. None of those individuals who have left for performance issues. Most time coaches get fired. They get fired because on the field performance is poor. I probably say 99% of the time. Call it 95%. Because deserve believe Brighton. I don't think it was performance. I was thinking it was just, personality conflict, right? If you have 5 coaches, people, who all probably had, not all had winning records, all performing well. 2's contract were not renewed, 2 resigned, and 1 is probably with FIFA now trying to work through something because they weren't happy about how they were treated or they left, right? Here we're told that some coach went to be with the national team. We were told this in public. I'm going to call it out by Rudolph Speed, that John Wall, the reason why John Wall was no longer coaching under 20 team was because John Wall couldn't do multiple things. He had to support national team. Hogwash, people. And when you take people for idiots, it's not a good look. When you come on these programs and take us for idiots, it's not a good look. Because you can't come here and then when you get called out, you get into your feelings and get mad and you can't do that. You come here and told us that the reason why John Wall was not coaching the under 20 when he was a bare-faced lie. Let me say that. Bare-faced lie. We know what it was. We asked the question. You said no. You said no. And with a smile. And you know what the thing about it, good about YouTube? We can go pull up the video. John Wall was let go because he believed the under 20 team, which got 15 love in 3 games, were not good enough to compete in CONCACAF. As I said before, I saw 14 names. I think it was like 12 or 11 of them had their documents, they had their documents, I'm sure about it. And they weren't including the team, and they were from big clubs. Last year, so let me go into that trek. Before we go to that trek, let me go to the next thing. Let me go for the trek because this is a good one. Let me go to the rest of the things I have here, and then we'll jump in that trick. The direction I'm going. So while some strides have been made, let me go to the second item. So the close out the thing with the coaches, I have never heard in any situation, in any national association, even in corporate environment, you had 5 people left a company in that context. 2 were voluntary. No, well, really, 2 were voluntary, which is Vin Blaine and Hogrimson. The other 3 were not. The girls' coach, who got replaced because supposedly the contract didn't get reviewed. The Donaldson situation, right? And then John Wall situation. None of those coaches were fired for performance, people, which is what you fire people for. And in the Jaw 1 situation, when the people him hide from the under 20, they fired him. He had a plan, he had a program, and then we get slaughtered and then go hide and come up with that sort of thing to camouflage it, including the under 14 press conference. Them think they're idiot thing. We're not fool, we're not idiot. If you want our support, treat us like smart people and like individuals who should be treated with respect. That's disrespectful, frankly. And then when you ask the question, everybody say, you know what? Well, the under 20, it goes. No, we don't know how it goes. We don't know how it goes. Because we support the football. We want to support the football. We invest in the football. Don't treat us like we're idiots. It wasn't cool. Now, while some strides have been made with hiring experienced coaches, obviously there's gap in technical staff resources, and there's criticism of reliance on, in my view, foreign expertise, and we don't have a strong local coaching pipeline. Now, obviously, it's all a work in progress, right? And you also always ask yourself, Jamaica's been playing football for over 100 years. What the hell have we been doing from a coaching standpoint? It's amazing, actually. And this JFF has been in place for a good while now, even in the Burrell days, so I don't understand. The accreditation of coaches is still in progress. And as I said before, we don't have enough qualified coaches. Now, in terms of the technical director role and the head of the technical committee, Jamaica did get involved and did get, as one of the MAs, the TDS program, Talent Development Program, which by the end of 14 started coming up. So it's a program where you go out and identify elite players, put them in the same environment, train them, coach them, management, and hopefully they get elevated and evolve to be world beaters, right? Now, I've been giving conflicted information on this. So if I speak to people in JFF, they say the program is running really well, and they're going to go back to FIFA to get some sourcing. If I speak to separate people outside who have approached me, says, the program is not what is supposed to be. I'm going to put it that way. I'm going to use euphemism. It's not what it's supposed to be. So I don't know who to believe, because I want to believe my sources, both sources. So we'll see what happens. We'll know in the next 6 months whether or not the program is still running. Now, a couple of things on technical director situation. There's a lack of a long-term development plan for Jamaica and youth football. There's lack of accountability for implementation, monitoring, control, and assessment of technical development program. These things are not disputable, and JFF needs to look into that. Football is not appropriately shaped by the TD, including system and style of play. Not appropriately shaped. The chairman of the technical committee is operating as technical director. You hear me talk about that conflict? It's inappropriate, and the president needs to address it. And I know the person who I didn't put him on my cover, because he complains me put it on my cover to get views. I'm going to put it on my cover, but me have to talk about it. Because he might run the program, and he's not a technical director. There's lack of transparency as evidenced by the non-publishing of FIFA's analysis of talent development ecosystem. So I got my hands on the TDS program for another country, people. Couldn't get the Jamaica one. I was told, you know, man, in XYZ. I got it for another country, and I looked through the entirety of the program. Really comprehensive. Tell you all what's there, what your deficiencies are, how they need to be addressed, all of that. It's a very comprehensive document. Couldn't get Jamaica. So I go back to that transparency thing, because they weren't transparent. And I got it from someplace else, which I don't think was pretty cool, actually. Let me go back. So, in essence, I'm trying to do something here. My thing is stuck. What my recommendation? You need to go out and get a technical director. Let me say this again, people. The JFF need to go get a technical director. It's not okay what they're doing now. You need to go get a technical director. The one you have now work. Now work. Go and get a technical director who have the autonomy, who have the skill set, who have the ability to run the program. Don't do what you're doing now. What you're doing now is not sufficient. Now, I did ask the question at one point, and I was told, technical director, that you need to do this is very expensive. Well, you have $3 million you may get. A technical director may cost you what? You know, get one from a first world country, it may cost you about 300,000, 250. Coach costs you what, $500,000. Go and get a technical director. And let that person work with you to do that. You need one, though, that has the knowledge how to do it, the experience how to do it, and you need to give them the autonomy to do it. You can't have the chairman of the technical committee run things and run roughshod over everybody. Because the president and Mr. President, come here and talk to you, Mr. President. You have to lead and you have to manage. You can't let one person just run certain things a certain way and everybody get frustrated with it. So let me call out some, you know what, I'm going to call it on the next page. The next page, the page after this. So in terms of specialist coaches, they have them in place. Goalkeeper coach, other coaches, they have them in place. At least for some of the national team. And not all the youth team, but they have them in place. In terms of medical performance, I've met the medical team, very experienced, very knowledgeable, work well, have been there for a long time. So I think those things are working. Now let's go to player development, which is an imperative and important. So they've made some enhancement in the process. You hear him talk about scouting island-wide now. I was amazed when I heard Leader talking about most of the coaching was done not past St. Catherine. And when country people complain year after year after year, year after year after year, that the people in that country now get equal opportunity, people in Kingston push back, and then you hear people like Leader say are true. But he might the one to do a scouting in the metropolitan area in Kingston and St. Andrew. So now they have doing. I think what I was told previously was that they have sort of distributed, break up the island of 4 pieces and doing it now. That's all good, but I have some concerns. There's a lack of comprehensive recruiting setup and process for sourcing diaspora players. There's inconsistent scouting for talent across the rural areas. We have the quota system, which restrict the ability to source elite talent. We have lack of influence at PICA to exert process for naturalizing players. And my suggestion is that they develop a comprehensive recruiting program, which I've been saying for a while, to recruit talent globally. So let me make a comment about something which I was told more recently. You remember last year there were supposed to be camps in Spain and England. Do you guys remember that? Let me know if you guys remember that. I need to drink some water. Tell me if you guys remember that. We're supposed to have some camps in Spain and in England. Do you guys remember that? Because I think John Wall wanted to really source talent. I don't know if you guys remember that. So I came across something the other day, people. I'm still trying to figure it out. Do you know that people in the UK spend time, spent effort, spent money to source players from a number of teams? I have the document in front of me. I think there are about 19 players. And when I count, maybe 14 of them were Premier League academies. The other 5 probably lower league teams. So you talk about Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal. I saw information where the people engage those individuals. They engage the clubs to get permission. They're going to hold the camps at Man U for 15 and 16-year-old people. You hear me? I say no. 15 and 16-year-olds, we're going to be held at Man United in the UK. They can get permission for everything. They're going to bring in coaches of Jamaican background, big time them to come in and deal with them 2-day program, elaborate, look really good, big program, big picture, date, time, food, everything, people. Worked out, well situated, big time youngsters, because you know you were whining and complain about, oh, when them reach 20, they want to play for Jamaica no more, they want to play for England. And you know they cancel the thing. The JFF cancel both of the camp them. Without explanation. Let me say that again, people. I mean, I guess this enough. Because you know some people like come here and run them out about you this and you that and you're spreading rumors. This is not a guess. These are things that I've seen with my own eyes, people. It's not okay. I say, let me beat the table about the nonsense about Diaspora. We can't have these kids who are 15 and 16 who have been called to go to some camp to go and play for Jamaica and get excited and they don't turn off the faucet. I don't know who turn it off. And then the man come complain about people that do something to that. The man come complain and run off his mouth about you do this and do that and you're this and you're sick. You're sick. That's the person who is sick. When you deny a 15 and 16-year-old the ability to do something they want to do, when they have the ability to do, and you deny them the opportunity, that cannot be okay. So when you call me sick, and when you say me this and me that, and me have facts on my side, and then the people, some of you in the chat, talking about they don't want to play for them, only want to play for England with this. We're talking about kids who are in the academy at some of the best academies in the world, who was going to go to a camp to train to figure out which ones probably could give progress to the Jamaica team. But because we want local players in the squad, we deny those kids their rights. How can it be okay to deny those kids their right, but it's okay to give the local kids their right? How can that be okay? Who called me sick? I don't know who called me sick. Hey, people, the sick thing is recorded enough, so you can't ask me who called me sick. These things are recorded. The one thing about YouTube is, that's why I'm not hide, they're recorded. They're recorded. They're in some storage something, some server for a long period of time. There's no SEC or no regulatory limitation on how long they should be held. Me have flu? Yeah, me have flu. But I was so disappointed when I saw it. Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, Man. You name the team, they were on that list, people. 19 people. I'm sure it's about 14 that were Premier League team, or 12 or 14 Premier League team people. Just like the other list that I saw for the under 20. These are 15 and 16-year-old. How can that be okay, people? And it's one person doing this. Let me say this again. It's one person doing this. I mean, okay, if you want to vex, it's a fact. It's a fact that these things occur. And you can't vex all you want. I mean, okay, if you want to vex, because you are restrict people. You want your players to go to the national team. Because when we look at Cavaliers now, they have 5 and 6 players in the 50, and which people say about 10 of the 50. Yes, they're the ones who get local youth to go play, but me I call it out. It's not okay. It can't be okay. It can't be okay. So 2 players from Tottenham. It was 2 from Tottenham, 2 from Chelsea. Me not go to the whole list, but me have the list at some days. Nothing bring it up. Because I remember the list. It's not okay. We can't have kids. Can you imagine we get 3 and 4 of them youth there, then come on Jamaica. We get 6 or 7 of them. Come on Jamaica, them in the vibes. They have potential to go. So look on Lewis Kelly, for example. But they have Jamaica background. He might play for Arsenal now. If even one of them people, I'm not saying he was on the list, by the way. But that's why we have one of them kids there, and him come in, him love the vibes, and love what we are doing. We program make it better. We improve now. We get more money. He may say, I'll stay and play for Jamaica. The man respect me. The man respect me. Joke thing, people. Joke thing. We have somebody a block. It's a blocker, a blocker. Come like an offensive lineman. I play football. It's a blocker. A block the people that move on overseas. People that man, they are Maverick and them look at money like skill cola. Them people are fight against diaspora people. We don't know when people start fight each other. Huh? Me once I don't race thing because somebody called me the other day because me mentioned something and the man said, I think Jamaica was out of many one people. So and they're right. So but not race thing, but say, the normal thing, but a joke thing, people, joke thing. That cannot be okay, people. I'm telling you, I'm flabbergasted. When I saw the list, my mouth opened, it didn't close for a while. Right? My mouth was open, it didn't close for a while when I saw the list, and I'm like, but that's what we've been talking about. If we get some of them youth and they come in the national team from early, and them do well in them club, and then get in the national team and they want to play, we have a chance to get them. No, we don't have no chance. So Nigel says, that's why I shocked when McClaren coming about waiting on England. Yeah. I mean, we know that's different, right? And here's the thing too, is people in England were organizing, it's not people. Just like it's what Fred and others are doing for the US, right? And to me, some of the US kids are not at the level like those English kids are. Because it's a different setup. It's like somebody in a basketball camp in the US versus some other country. It's a whole different setup. And that's why Michael Ricketts, the president of the Jamaica, but you know something? Michael Ricketts also supports quotas. So I don't know. Because his constituents support quotas. So you and I can complain and whine all we want. And they're going to sit there and say, you know what? They can take and say, we're not change. But you should never give up. You should put pressure on. Because if you don't, nothing will change. Seriously. The quota system is wrong. It's illegal. That's why I put my hand on it. It's illegal. That's why I put my hand on and say it's illegal. I don't care what they want to say. It's illegal. It's illegal. And so it's going to change at some point. If you have to talk about every show, they'll change. By the way, people, I just looked at the numbers. So we have 101 people and we have 52 likes. No, 62 likes. Can't see good enough. I lose my eyesight. I'm not sure that's good, but I can't tell me if it's good. I have spend much time on it. No, I hit the like button off on the business. So let's go to my next thing, player development. In terms of senior team management, it seems to have improved. But there's opportunity to continue to improve. Diaspora engagement, as it relates to, I just talked about that a while ago. Whether it's fans and or players and or sponsors, it needs to improve. And then, as I said before, for player welfare, they're doing much better. They have a team chef for nutrition and travel by charter play, and they might fly big class. So it's a good thing. But there's still opportunities there to enhance that. So we won't spend a ton of time on that. As we go through this, we'll just talk about some of this. Now, the next section, I don't know why my thing keeps cutting off the heading, That makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. I don't know why this keeps doing that. Now, in terms of leagues, people, obviously, we have the JPL. It's functional, but we have all realized that the quality needs to improve. So we should be supportive of the JPL and what they're trying to do, because it's a good thing, right? Trying to be more professional, have teams improve their grounds, trying to get academies in place for some of them. But the JFF need to influence all of this, right? They don't control the clubs from that perspective. They need to influence all of this. They need to work with all athletic stakeholders to better develop local talent to supply the domestic leagues. The transition from youth to senior level, they leverage high school football a lot, to me is weak. I suggest, and this is a suggestion, they should develop an under-21 league to better progress to JPL. far more concerned, because some people mature late, right? So you're a big star in high school, you go straight to now on JPL team, but if you haven't performed as well, then you get to the wayside, go play for some other team lower down. I suggest they do like the UK doing about under 21 league, but that's just me thinking out loud. In terms of international competition, the JFF has done well, whether it's the more formalized CONCACAF games or trying to structure more local games. The two-way game with Trinidad, which is coming up, even though my suggestion is the process of sourcing games should be better. So outside international windows, it's hard to get players. But for local players who are playing JPL, we seem to be go a lot of Caribbean stuff. And I keep saying this, people. Yeah, I put under 21 versus under 23 because when you reach 23, garden, no, life in football almost over if you don't reach nowhere. So I mean, it's 21 as a step between being 18 in Manning Cup and then 2 years out of Manning Cup or something like that. That's the way I'm thinking about it. But no right and wrong. I thought under 23 first, but I changed to under 21. So on international competition, we're playing a lot of people. The competition is no longer the Caribbean, you know. The competition is outside the Caribbean. So you have to try to get, just if you want to see which player you think can transition to the national team based on performance in the national game, you got to get better competition. So whether it's the US, whether it's Costa Rica, like so you used to be MLS players because you're out of the window, that's where the games you got to get. Every time Trinidad back home, because it's convenient, it's cheaper. Figure out a way to do it. Maybe the $3 million can pay for everything. I'm paying for some big game. In terms of youth competition, we have youth competition, but I know they're going to have an under 12 or 13 all-island thing coming up. But I think we need better vision and strategy and execution to achieve the desired outcome for youth competition. I think they got to go back to the drawing board for youth competition. Because the problem that we don't seem to realize is that whether women or men, if you don't do well in grassroots football, which I'll talk about soon, then you won't have the supply for all the leagues that you have and the teams that you have. And in terms of women football, they're making efforts to improve the women's league. I think more to come on that. But the strategy for women's football in Jamaica locally needs to change drastically. Now, even the women's team people, them start off quota. Then people want to tell me about this Fraser team. We got play the other day. We watch them play. Well, watch it for 5 minutes and say, you know what? It needs to be better. Can't watch for more than 5 minutes. That ain't working, people. Trust me. So one says the football has improved in the JPL. It's still not a good level, but at least most are keeping the ball on the ground to play decent football. That's a step forward. No, I agree with you. As I said before, they're trying their best to improve. So you got to give kudos and credit for them trying to improve in terms of the JPL. But women's football is getting bigger and bigger every day, as we're seeing much more sponsorship, much more television rights. Jamaica has, both for women and men, the raw material, which is athleticism, to do really well. You have to then leverage the raw material and turn it from potential into actuality. And we don't do that well. Yeah, we win everything in the Caribbean. You know, the under 21 in the Caribbean, right? You know, Michael, you know, the under 20 did win before they went to Latin America and get 15 love. Hey, that is infinite. That looked like Trossard that beat Poro. That's them kind of thing there. We just totally get discombobulated and destroyed. We beat up the Caribbean. So the Caribbean can't be competition. No. If you win in the Caribbean, people, and you get 15 love in 3 games, and you get 9 love in 1 game, as if you have played tennis. You know, tennis, I go to 7, so not even 9. Then that don't make no sense, people. That don't make no sense. I'm not sure why people don't realize that and say that doesn't work. Before the game said the youth competition in the region at national level seemed to be ad hoc to get FIFA funding and isn't planned properly. Always last minute. No, look, what you have to do is, you see that in the US, there's a comprehensive assessment as to what you need to have a functioning football program, and you start grassroots and work your way up. Or you start at top and get the right administration and think about it holistically. The JFF and others seem to leverage the high school quite a bit to get some of these things done. And I'm not sure high school, you just focus on winning. I'm not sure. And also, it's a combination of different factors, right? You got the right coaching, right infrastructure, right support. So it's not just one thing. But me, I always go talk with the 15 love because I can't forget it. It's indelibly etched in my mind. In terms of infrastructure, so look, the JFF continue to invest in the National Training Center, talk about it a lot. Well set up, been there for a while, AstroTurf, all of that. But even though the National Training Center has improved, in general, in Jamaica, training and related facilities far below international standards. That's not debatable. So I think, this is my view, they should probably have a training center in our 4 region, east, west, north, and south, actually. Because the elite program they have now is going to source about 30 kids for that center. If you have more center, because that's spacing, you probably could source 120 kids. Because kids matriculate and mature differently. So you could get 30 if you're under 14. Maybe you have 30 more outside that probably has the potential, but didn't get an opportunity. It should change. When one says, definitely you can choose to do more work, has been proved to work, and you can choose what you want to do. Yeah. But I do think that needs to improve. Now, in terms of the stadiums in Jamaica, look, when I was growing up, I really had no good stadium. Now the stadiums have improved. They're becoming more professional. But so we have improvement in local stadium, but most stadiums lack modern amenities. You hear they were talking about the other day about the Wi-Fi in the stadium. They try to go right with JFF Live, charging $10 a month subscription, and the Wi-Fi may not work. The National Stadium is overused, and facilities, including the surface, are below international standard, and frankly, not fit for purpose. Not fit for purpose. We were told, and I've heard it from multiple sources, including I think Ministry of Sports, that they're going to be doing some work on the stadium, and the capacity going to increase by what? About 5,000 after they finish it. So we'll see what that means. And then what does that mean for everything, for every event that you hold there? Because everything is held there. Whether it's concert or champs or track and field events or football, high school football. So are they going to move everything to someplace else? So 423, we can't take a call until we're done 423. So you have a call me back. Now take a call until we're done. I'll finish this. Now, my suggestion is this, people. My suggestion is this, that one, they try to leverage government and private sector funding for infrastructure upgrades. Two, there's a lot happening now between the Middle East and say China, for example. So we know China buy out Jamaica. I'm going to do a program on that soon. But even so, China help to build what? The stadium in Trelawney. They need to work with China or Saudi Arabia, give them money for free. Work with them for help Jamaica. It's a cost beneficial thing, you know. So both parties have to have benefits. So what can you give Saudi Arabia? Maybe some goodwill, maybe give them some track and field at least. We don't know. But whatever it is, figure that out, work with them so you can get some investment in your stadium, because infrastructure, not only stadium infrastructure, because you can't expect the kids to grow up and play in an environment which are not conducive to playing good football. Because what you put in is what you get out of it. Right? Yeah, Granero says our view were the standard beer back in the days. Yeah, well, things have gotten better. So Michael Gordon says, organizational, there are several youth competitions in CONCACAF, so we can enter them in course for course. Yeah, there's a lot to be done, but I do have some suggestions at the end of this to discuss about that whole thing with CONCACAF and how we limit ourselves, actually. I think we got to think about that. But I think a couple of things, which is private sector, government, and then go outside Jamaica. Because at me here, some people have Rolodex and people and can call anybody now. Call somebody. I don't know about St. Catherine, but I know the one in Trelawney, which was a cricket stadium. I know about St. Catherine. Good question. Yeah, I mean, Saudi Arabia and China build everything and anything, and Saudi Arabia have just give away money to Ronaldo and all them people there. Waste of time for force them to come there. So, let's figure out what we can do for them and they can do for us. If we're producing elite footballers, they could all go to Saudi Arabia and make some really good money too. Now, in terms of community programs, I don't know any note. So community programs, I think the opportunity is to develop and implement football community programs to improve the lives of citizens. We have so much gun violence and everything there. We have nutritional awareness, cancer awareness, social justice thing. You can have program that JFF can help sponsor and run. You go in a community and do them thing. We hear people like when they're there. Demo doing something in Augustown. It's those kind of programs that you go and do quite a bit of them in the communities. Fail to get kids off the street. And they had some program, I think it was in the US, where they had program, they try to get kids to spend a significant amount of hours playing just the sport, keep them occupied, right? And idle lands go do bad things. So I think they should think about that actually and do more of that. There's a coaching education. They're doing things in coaching education. You hear the technical director for, I was going to say for the JFF, but it's not. The chairman of the technical committee talks about what they're doing, coaching, thing. Trinidad run the program. Some money-making enterprise for Trinidad, but they might run it. And JFF has invested in this, and you hear the Minister of Sports talks about having a government sponsored program where they're gonna try to get 500 coaches to attain the D license. So they're paying for that, they're doing that, they're funding that. So it's a good thing. I think the problem we have in Jamaica football in terms of players and the performances is tied to the coaching. And if you don't have qualified coaches, I don't think you're going to get qualified players most time. You'll have some who slip through, but you need good coaches to teach them the right thing. That's why I see Spain does so well. So we have to continue to invest in coaching education to improve the qualifications of local coaches. And you can't point to one local coach and you say, you know what, should be in charge of the national team, which is not good. Some of those coaches need to do like Coley did, go overseas, take risk, and be options to come back. And I also think we are very comfortable working with Trinidad. We play football with Trinidad. We go to Trinidad coaching course. Why are we talking about other MAs in other jurisdictions to work with them, to collaborate with them? Right? Why are we just go to the CM school we can't go to CM school, go learn the CM thing from the CM person, our CM people. Why don't we diversify our learning experience and engage with some other MAs to do this? We're doing the CM thing over and over and over again. We need to do something different. Now, in terms of public engagement and marketing, the fan engagement has improved significantly and continues to improve. And we have a number of Diaspora group. I know 3 that I know so far, Kyle and Dub Hub and others, who Dennis has been meeting with to talk about what they can do. You see the fans in the stadium with drums and marching band. I wouldn't call them marching band. People with cheerleaders and thing there. That's part of the whole Diaspora thing, and they're doing more and more of that. That's good. But I think that process needs to be much more holistic, because I think Diaspora is looking more and more back to Jamaica to provide assistance. Can I tell you something? And someone not beat me for saying this. Nobody will beat me for saying this. Somebody shouldn't say so, but I'll say so. When you think about it, something heavy pain, you know. So I've heard this from a very famous Jamaican. So we'll say it. Let me drink some water before we say it. Let me drink some water before we say it. Heard this from a famous Jamaican. You remember somebody said Jamaica can't do nothing for them? You guys remember that? There was a famous Jamaican who said Jamaica can't do nothing for them. You guys remember that, right? Just make sure you guys remember that. The famous Jamaican who said Jamaica can't do nothing for them. So I must say this, because this is my view. Jamaica can't do nothing for the Diaspora. Let me say it again, because someone longer like me saying that. Jamaica can't do nothing for the Diaspora. Not material anyway, in my view. But Diaspora can do a lot for Jamaica. And I think people locally don't seem to understand that concept or that idea or how that really think or how that really work. Right? Jamaica can do nothing for the Diaspora. That's material. The Diaspora can do a lot for Jamaica. So the people in Jamaica who are anti-Diaspora, your thinking is small. Your thinking is small. You're not thinking big picture. Especially those in leadership position. Especially those who are run things. Yeah, we want to understand when we say we're limited by finances with some things that we can do. But no, we understand the limitation. No. That's why it requires people with certain level of intellect and know-how and linkage and connection and mindset to really be involved in the football. You have the same people doing the same thing year after year after year. Now left them yard, send them yard and go meeting, collect them fees and go back in them yard. Now add nothing to the table. No value. Can't think outside, then close. Can't think. Can't come with nothing. Can't be inventive. Can't be innovative. That can't be okay. And those people get to run things. They're the ones in charge. They're the ones in certain roles. So it's not a good thing, people. And Diaspora have money, people. I'm not going to say me have no money, no, but Diaspora in general, that's why they leave Jamaica, go look for better pastures. A lot of them have go to different places, whether it's the US, England, other places, and doing okay, not good enough to help. And it's a lot of them have the populations outside Jamaica. So I do think efforts are being made, and Dennis is leading some of those efforts to engage the diaspora, but more needs to be done. Much more needs to be done. And even the 3 groups they have, because still, it's apathy is in place from a fan perspective. When I go to games in the US, for example, people not US people, we haven't connected with the people who have left Jamaica. Some people have moved away, and Jamaica is out of sight, out of mind. You have to have them keep you in mind, right? There's some people, but most people I know though, especially the ones who go to high school, most of them involved with some kind of alumni organization. They're always contributing, they're always buying tickets, they're always selling tickets. You always see this around, and they contribute back to their alma mater, to the high school. But you can get more in terms of people want connectivity with the island. I know it's a better time for JFF because Trump in power. Enough people don't like Trump. They may look to Jamaica more and more. So you got to do something about that. In terms of media and broadcasting, you heard the press conference today. So they've been seeing an improvement in the press conference the JFF have held. A lot of media-related activities has improved. I think Simon has done a really, really good job in managing those press conferences. Very professional. They've made small progress in leveraging social media. And my YouTuber have this love-hate relationship, probably mainly hate now, probably get worse tonight. But hopefully that continue to improve. And they've had plans in place to significantly increase or improve the use of social media to generate revenues and to engage with fans. Right? So you heard today about the JFF Live streaming games. The initial checkpoint is going to be the games with Trinidad. Try to stream those games. They did it with the women's team when they played South Africa. And they said they had 60,000 views for each game, I think it was, or whatever the number was. So it was a big number. Because diaspora people get more and more hungry for local thing, So you can provide it to them. They'll leverage it. I won't keep on going about the $10, but they should revisit what them charge. But as I said here, the JFF is in infancy stage of exploring and leverage the power and opportunities that's presented by social media. Basically, they can use to expand their brand and generate revenues. They also need to make sure they improve the media facilities at the headquarters because they don't have Wi-Fi there, is my understanding. So it's hard to have conferences there and you have for you to get access and be able to call in and do what you want to. Or have Zoom call. Boy said, do you plan to engage with the JFF about this report? No, not really. I mean, I have JFF on here from me. It does take time to put these together, but I like when I do these things, I like to do them in more detail than just come on for 10 minutes and drop and get some views and get me out. I never really operate that way. I can't operate that way. I don't do it. I like to spend time thinking about it, garnering information, and try to disseminate it. And it's for all parties involved. It's for fans. It's for my supporters. It's for everybody to look at. And they can critique it, right? You can look at it, you can critique it, you can disagree and agree. It is what it is. I did do research to get some of this information. I didn't just pull it out. I did engage with people from the JFF. I did engage with people outside the JFF. I did try to get information from independent sources. So I just don't get information and put it here because I like to do that. In terms of compliance and ethics, in general, if JFF do comply with FIFA guidelines, you remember where FIFA had them change the sort of people eligible to vote in the election and all that. So they did update the Constitution. They just keep on discriminating the Constitution with their quota system, and they haven't addressed conflict. And I'm always going to put that conflict and quota here, in terms of not adhering to FIFA guidelines. My suggestion is they comply with their own rules. In terms of anti-doping, the JFF doesn't run anti-doping. That's what I have a lot here. By the way, I did give them grades in it, but I didn't go through the grades here. I didn't give any A's at all. I forgot to mention the grades, frankly, but I didn't give any A's. It's mainly C's. I think I gave F for technical director situation because I think youth football is not where it needs to be. But in terms of anti-doping, it's done by the Jamaica Doping Association. So they're the ones who do it. What's it called? JADCO or whatever it is. They're the ones who do the doping for players, for athletes. So JFF doesn't really do that. If they do it, they're probably conflicted in terms of if they get a positive result, what do they do with it? And then in terms of ethics and integrity, I think that's improved actually in terms of form and substance actually. So they have made investments to improve the ethics. They have a number of policies they put in place, like workplace policies. So procurement policy, how you go out and get supply and suppliers, which Jamaica struggle with, especially people in politics. Safeguarding policy, sexual harassment policy, whistleblower policy. They put all those in place. Now, the thing I'm saying in my recommendation is make sure it work and make sure if people violate it, they penalize them. Because you know what Jamaica work? You have policies, you have integrity commission, And as soon as something go wrong, everybody start blame somebody else and cuss out people and say them partial and everything. And nobody not go jail when they get them wrong. People rob up money at Jamaica and nobody not go jail. It disappear. So that needs to be addressed. So if they have violation, don't just have policies and they're sitting on the shelf and get a dust. Use them and put conflicts in their policies. To look like the conflicts, put conflicts in their policy. I don't know who can have policy and have the conflicts when I have and not address them. Man, say them sign and register. In terms of partnership and stakeholders, and I'm almost finished, people. Good collaboration with the government, even though I think during COVID that wasn't that great, but it's improved with FIFA, CONCACAF. My point on the collaboration with the governments is that, and it's a Caribbean discussion, not just JFF. The JFF in the Caribbean can be more influential than FIFA and CONCACAF. When you have a large voting block, when you have over 20 members, for example, a big block you have vote, and Wana used to exploit this quite a bit. You can influence people. You can change direction. You can determine who win election. You do like a group in New York does, not call on group, but you have a certain group in New York who vote as one block, like one person. You have 100,000 of them. So if you want them to vote, you have to give them something. I mean, I talk about for people pocket, I talk about for the organization. The football in the region should be better and get more investment from FIFA, because FIFA make enough money, but the influence is not being used collectively, very distributed. In terms of corporate sponsorship, I know they have sponsorship, and I have the listing here. Adidas, the Water and Primary Company, Ray Neville, Grace. I think those are not necessarily material, but Adidas is material. I've been told that, and it was said the other day on the program when Avery was here, that more sponsors want to come on board. More sponsors have interest. They want to come on board. The JFF image has improved, so people will come on board. So they continue to enhance the brand, and they've had sponsors, and they're getting more sponsors. And as the brand improve and the image improve and the performance of the field improve, especially if you make World Cup, you'll get more people come on board. In terms of local clubs and academies, JFF work well with them, but more need to be done, people. Can't just work with people, and give them advice and guidance and contribute this kind of money. In most countries, it's not necessarily the national football program who owns some of these things, but they are very influential. They can do well and should continue to do well. In terms of research and development, and innovations, food science, I have here nothing, right? Nothing that I can talk to of any meaningfulness. I did inquire about this. Not a lot. And when you talk about innovation, people, innovation doesn't necessarily mean, say, like with a new technology, I'm going to give you an example of innovation. Innovation is about what Pep did, at Man City, in terms of how he play football, and even using the keeper to play out is innovation. So innovation doesn't have to be something that you think is so revolutionary and it's coming with some big product. It could be different things, right? It could be different things. Last but not least, here's a list, people. I summarize the list. Their achievements, and we just talk about this, and the challenge they face. They have strengthened their association. They have strengthened their financial condition. They've improved their brand image. They were selected by FIFA for the TDS program, which is good. I've heard it's been canceled. I heard it's working well. I heard they're going to get more money. Don't ask me. That's an interesting one. They've improved their public image, and they've improved player engagement and player welfare. Where the challenges reside, lack of adequate succession planning at the board and executive level, lack of strategic multi-year plan. And people go online look at Spain plan. If you want to see a strategic plan, go look at Spain. Go look at Spain plan, people. That's a multi-year plan, 4, 5 year, 6 year plan. Go look at it. Lack of holistic youth development, lack of a technical director with the expertise, profile, and influence to effectively execute the requirements of the role. Lack of adequate coaching and infrastructure to better support youth development or player development. Lack of adherence to certain compliance ethics, non-stop beat the conflict, non-stop beat the quota. And lack of professionalism and accountability in certain areas. And the professionalism to me talks about coaching. You get rid of 5 coaches leave. The only one constant there, and that's the JFF. And the under 20 we still are with for postmortem. So that's it, people. That's the list. That's the list. That's my discussion. That's my perspective on JFF football. So it wasn't really a total beating, right? I decided to change that. I decided to change that from just beating and try to provide some value, because you can't just beat people and no value. So what this is it? Love needs to be reciprocated. 9-7 entertainment, or else it's just abuse. Yeah, I hear you. But Michael said, Cranky, how did you find a marketing young lady? Even though it went smoothly, but I felt something was missing, but I can't pinpoint it. No, Dennis Strong interviewed me to her actually. I had contacted Dennis about some of these things. They hear me talk about, because as I said before, I spoke to Dennis about a couple of these things. And she was in his office at the time, and he said you should interview her. She agreed, so we had a conversation. You said something was missing. So tell me, I don't know what was missing, because sometimes you do an interview, you're not aware of perception and perspective, and what was missing? The delivery, the content, the substance. Did I export? There were the topics I should have explored I didn't explore? Let me know. By the way, she was on a conference call today too. She's very, very good. She's very, very good. Very, very good. And she's very, very young. She's 25. 25. She's a baby. But she's very, very smart, very articulate, and have a lot of plans. And she said smart thing, which is she's trying to find out the lay of the land. She's trying to do her due diligence. She called it audit before making certain decisions or going forward. And also, she's hopeful of support from the JFF, financial and otherwise, to help her execute her mandate. Right? And that's important, because if she doesn't get the support that she needs, then how is she going to be able to be successful? I think the time is right, people. We are a year and a half from the World Cup. Jamaica has a good chance to make the World Cup, all being equal. If we had better recruiting, I would almost guarantee we make it. Recruiting has been awful to me at all levels. Terrible. You have youngsters now who probably could transition. How many youngsters have we transitioned from the junior team to national team, people? Because we keep getting local players who are not good enough, a lot of them. How many young players have we transitioned from the under 20, the under 17 in the last 3 so years to the national team? You see that in England. You see Palmer, you see Gomez, you see Saka, you see all of them transition from the junior team. Gibbs White more recently. Look how much people in England have transitioned from junior team to senior team. Where team I get old? Don't you guys realize that? The national team is getting old. We don't have enough young people in there and infusion after. You know what England do? They might recycle out the old player and put in new people. People like Sterling and Rashford can get back in the team. They're recycling it. They're not going through an evolution now. Not a revolution, evolution of bringing in new players across the board for the England team. See Mark Gouy play the Europe. You see Gibbs White come in. You see all these players come in. You see Rodgers come in. They're trying to cap everybody. And what we're doing, in our feelings, being parochial, just having a quota system, which is a barrier to success. God help us. People on the island, some of the people on the island, I shouldn't say some people on the island, it's very general. Some people on the island just think one-dimensional. Their pocket. They ain't thinking for the national. They're not patriotic. In fact, they're anti-patriotic. And I've had some discussion with some people about that. All they think about is themselves and what they can get out of it. He said, Michael was talking about Avery. It was more on content, but she showed savvy ways to answer questions. Hence, I think she did a good job. Yeah, no, Michael, I think the problem is because she's new in the role, you can't delve into what she's going to do or what she has done because she hasn't been in the role. When you're new to the role, you get a buy, right? Until you have time to go in and do something. So she can't talk to things that she hasn't done yet. And that's why the interview sometimes is difficult. You cannot talk about prospectively. You can't talk about retroactively. You can't go back and look at what you did, except what she did in the JPL. At least for this program, it's a different program. It's still football, but it's a little bit different. So it's hard sometimes to interview when you can't really. It's like trying to interview somebody who's not incumbent. The incumbent have a history. The person don't have a history. It makes it more difficult. No, she comes across well actually. So you have to give her credit. She came across well. Not getting old, cranky. They're old. Yeah. But the problem is that we have is that. Let me ask you guys a question. After the World Cup, because people like people. Let me say this now. Antonio. Sorry. I hope you recover quickly. Antonio, our best players. Antonio, the Pinocks, they're past 30. Bobby Reed, Noah, about 30 now. Lower past 30. Nicholson, I get up there 27, 20. People be there 27, 20. They're not young anymore, no people. Where the young people coming through that you can say, you know what? I'm excited about. You name me the young player come through. We said Dixon. He's at Watford and he's doing okay. We said we spot him injured. We don't know if he will recover, right? tell me the young people, them. England can name 10, 15 people. They can name the Billingham and the Foden who are established, but them still young. They can name the Rodgers and the Palmers of the world and Gordon. Who can we name? And we have tons of players, tons. So I have 2 lists of about, for the under 20 and under 15, 16. So call it about, and say about 30 people who were possibilities, and no possibility they're gone because we deny them the right. No, one man them the right and the right. And one man do it. With support, because the president support quota. And so there's some people in the Jamaica community. But we can point out local players who are exceptionally talented who's going to matriculate to the national team. I'm still don't understand the mindset, the thought process, the limitation in the thought about how do I get to a better place on a more long-term sustainable basis by leveraging talent wherever it resides who are citizens. I must admit I don't understand. I'm used to dealing with meritocracy people. I'm used to dealing with meritocracy. You're good enough, you're involved. You're not good enough, gotta think of alternatives. So yeah. People still talking about the marketing director. She seems smart, willing to listen, learn outside the box, and her heart right place. Yeah, hopefully she gets the support and hope she does well. Yeah, well, they can't pick, but we're not giving them any competition. That's the thing, you know. Everybody looking, you see a lot of African countries looking to compete, like Nigeria. Nigeria's got a couple. They got Iwobi real early. They got, what's his name from Atlanta, who scored in, was at Tottenham and some other teams, and then scored in the finals of the Europa League against Leverkusen. Can't remember his name right now. But they got some few players who are very, very good. Some go early, some have gone early. We can't point any. We had Hutchinson. There were issues. He's gone out playing well. Maybe he's another someone to think about, but yeah. Jeremy says, you're right, sir. We need to keep on recruiting. The PS5 for the players, and the players are aging, needs to be replaced. We're an old football team, people. Work up at them last tournament for enough of them. I mean, you look at the team. So let's go to the team. Blake, over 30, right? Right back, we're saying they're not good enough. Lembeke's young, but he's got to get better. Center half, Bernard, probably close to that number. Low, over 30. Pinnock, way past 30. Bell, decent player, but needs competition. Greg Lee, them up there now, late 20s? You go to midfield. Lati, young. Hayden, past 30. Bobby Reed, probably around 30. Up here, old people. Up front, Nicholson, late 20s. Antonio, past 30. We don't know if he might go recover first. Bailey, probably about 27 up there. Probably go more to 28. Greer, same age. I'll go up there. It's our whole team. Within 19 and 20. Now we have Dixon, who is evolving. We don't have a lot. So Bobby Reed at 32. See? Old people. That's where vision comes into play, people. Right? That's where vision comes in. Yeah, Lati's young. Yeah, but me not call a certain name because me not believe them people that are in the national team for a while. If not put something in the chat, me not gonna say nothing bad about them, but me not call a certain name because me not think they're going to the national team long. Trust me. Lemba is young. He's played well. See, show that goal he scored the other against Panama. But Lemba's having a tough time more recently. And Dixon is young, but we don't have any. Where the Palmer and the Saka them there for Jamaica, and them Rodgers them and the Ramsey them. When them there? Because we are car players sometime who I'm not sure will make it sometime. Because they haven't been players who have such differentiated skill where they say, you know what? Guarantee for the national team. Guarantee. The age doesn't matter if they're performing well. Before the game, that's total hogwash. Hogwash. If you're 30, you're on the wrong side of the age and you're going that way. Sometimes a lot of 30-year-olds fall off a cliff, people. Sterling fall off a cliff. Rooney fall off a cliff. You may have the Ronaldos of the world. They're an aberration. They're not the norm. They're not even close to being the norm. Most players, when them reach 30, clubs start looking a different direction. Clubs start saying, you know what? You want to sign a contract? We can give you a 2-year contract. Chelsea didn't give a contract over, a year for anybody past 30. They didn't give multi-year contract. Just like William left. They didn't give multi-year contract. So for somebody to say, well, 30 is not the age. No, the age is a problem. Age is a problem. Only old people like me and you before the game can talk about say age. But no, I mean, I say that. Age is a problem. If you don't give contract to people, but TLC will give what, 9-year, 10-year contract, 7-year contract, 6-year contract. Now, begin about them took multi-year contract over 30. Whisper 19. When last have we seen Whisper? When last has Whisper played with the national team? It's been over a year, right? Last World Cup. Don't remember him playing after that. So I'm not going to call certain names, but yeah. I'm getting a phone call. Good night. Good night. Wait 1 second. I'm not sure why this is not showing. Something is wrong here. You're not coming through the system, so let me check the system. Can you hear me? Yeah, you're not coming through the system. I don't know what's happening. Let me see if my settings should be fine. Yeah, I don't understand why. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, but you're not coming to the system. I don't know why. Let's try it again. Try it again. Oh, I know why. Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Presentation. But yesterday, was it yesterday? I think yesterday I saw a guest on a show unable to defend his position, and I called him out on it. So I'm calling to defend my position.
So what guest and what show and what position?
Well, what a YouTuber?
A YouTuber show.
I'm being like you. I'm not calling names tonight.
but I did give it where you could understand who the person. I could figure out who the person was, right?
But look, players enter the prime at about 28 years old.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you would support dismissing of a player just because he's 30 and he's performing well. It's about performance.
Right.
So if you have a player with quality at 30 years old and is performing, he's getting up and down the pitch, he's doing his job, you would get rid of him to put an inexperienced 18-year-old in there?
I have a question for you.
Yeah, okay.
Which team do you support? In the Premier League?
In the English Premier League?
Yeah. Which team do you support?
Arsenal.
How old is Jorginho?
He's in his 30s.
33. How old is Thomas Partey?
He's in his 30s as well.
Early 30s, right?
Yeah.
He's 31. Is Arsenal re-signing those two players?
We don't know as yet.
Wait. No. Don't have a click. Has Arsenal given them a contract? They're in the last year of their contract, the last 6 months of their contract. Have Arsenal offered them a contract?
I think the question. I don't know. Arsenal has not offered them a contract as yet. Right?
Okay. Wait. No. Are they playing well?
Yes.
Okay. Defense first. Defense first. Defense first.
Is Partey playing well?
Partey is playing brilliantly.
Okay.
Jorginho is playing well. That's my point. Right. You just say that if you're playing well, you can't throw them away.
That point is blunt. That point is blunt. We don't know that Arsenal will or will not offer them a contract. But the fact of the matter, they are playing right now because they are playing well.
Wait. Let me have a question for you because you're being hypocritical. So you're saying,
but I was talking.
No. You're not being fair.
You moved the conversation from 30 years old to 33 years old.
No. He's 30. Partey is 31. No. I said when you pass 30, you're on the other side of the hill, right? When you pass 30, go ahead.
What was my statement?
You're saying so long as you're playing well, it should be okay, basically.
Yeah.
Who's saying Trossard have a deal to 28? Trossard rejected his deal. What do you mean, Sports City? I think Trossard rejected his deal. Didn't Trossard reject his deal? They offered him a contract extension. He basically said no. I don't think it's unless he signed one subsequently. But I thought I heard he didn't want the deal because Trossard have a higher perspective of his performance in himself than reality. But go ahead before the game. Go ahead. But before the game, do you see a point I'm trying to make? Oh, wait, 1 second. I think I lost before the game. 1 second. Before the game, go ahead. Sorry. You got fell out. Yeah, what were you saying now?
My only point is that I think performance is the key, because, you know, a player that's 28, if he's still performing, the experience and everything else, you don't just get rid of it. That's one of the things that I think happened in Trinidad. I think they got rid of Dwight without having replacement, right? And he had a lot to offer, probably still. So it's a
but when York went to the World Cup, his legs were going.
Yeah,
his legs were going.
And that's
why he's playing midfield, right? His legs were going.
Yeah, I think 30 is still 30 in your prime. You enter your prime at about 28.
Now, look, I'm not saying, 30, I think your prime is like 28, 27. That's your prime to me.
Right, that's when
people start past 30, people get concerned. Okay, think about it this way. Chelsea's offering people contract. Are they offering anybody 30 long-term contract? They don't even have anybody 30 in their team. Who in Chelsea team is 30? Name me a 30-year-old Chelsea's team.
Right, because they have made financial decisions, and that's why they're probably not going to win the league anytime soon.
Let's keep going on this topic, people. How many Arsenal players are over 30?
Look, but they're important. You just called two.
How many Arsenal players over 30?
Yeah. But we talk about 30 years old. My comment was based on 30-year-old players. You said that 30 years old, you got to get rid of them.
I didn't say get rid of them. I say you got to think about replacing them. Get rid of is a very strong statement. What I'm saying, you can't have a team with a bunch of 30-year-old and you don't have succession planning in place. If I'm going to criticize the JFF about succession planning for its board of directors and its executive body, then the same go for the national team. You can't have a bunch of how much England players over 30 now?
You know how important Luka Modric is to Real Madrid?
Luka Modric is to Real Madrid? Yeah, but Luka Modric is not a starter anymore. He comes off the bench.
Yes, but he is important. He plays a role.
But he's a role player. He's not a main player. He's a role player. He's a role player. I love this. Wait. Back up. So people bring up Jamie Vardy and trust all these people. When we having these conversations, it's about normalization. It's about, I'm going to use the word average. It's not about aberrations or things in the periphery. So if you use Arsenal team, most of them are under 30. Right? The entire back line right now is under 30.
Read one statement.
The entire forward line is under 30. Woodman says, I agree. You don't remove players because they're older, but you must plan for the time when they're not performing. That's why team over short term, they don't want to play. Yes, because when you pass 30, you're going to be on the other side of your career. But that's the point I'm making.
But you don't get rid of them because they're not performing, because in today's market, players are playing until their late 30s.
But people, don't make those comments. It's not a good comment. There are many players. How many players are not playing until the late 30s? But okay, I go with this point again, people. You got to be very careful when you make this statement. We're talking about aberrations versus normality. How many players play to the late 30s? Name me 5, 10 players in the Premier League who play level in their late 30s.
No,
10 in the late 30s. But they're playing.
Ashley Young.
Yeah, that's one. Go ahead. 39.
James Milner.
Not playing. I haven't seen him on the field for a long time. But keep going.
Johnny Evans.
Wait, no. There are 400 and something people in the Premier League. 400 and something players. Go ahead. We talk about 30 now, people. And you play between 20 and 30s because most of them are not teenagers. But go ahead.
Thiago played until he's 37.
But we're talking about aberrations again. Let's normalize the conversation. Don't use aberrations. Don't use aberrations.
But you just asked me
for 10 players. For 10 players now in the Premier League, and you can't give me 10. Or 400 and something. Over 400 and something.
Listen to me, but you, when I start to call, you started to do what you're now becoming infamous for.
Okay, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, so there's Fabianski who's still.
We're not naming goalkeepers, people. I can play to 100 goalkeepers. We're not naming goalkeepers. People talk about play people. Goalkeepers don't play no football. They don't stand up on the football field. Go ahead. You talk about players who are running out there.
You want me to name you players? Oh, so you don't want goalkeepers?
No, I don't want goalkeepers because they're not players. They're just under.
Ashley Young.
1.
Jamie Vardy.
2. By the way,
Johnny
Ashley Young and
Evans.
Wait, by the way. Wait, say something. Ashley Young and Jimmy Vardy are holding on. But keep going.
Cranky.
They're holding on.
Cranky.
At a high level, I said high level. Jimmy Vardy got 2 goals at a high level. Keep going.
Cranky, I have a list of more than 10.
Yeah, Young went from forward to right back. Keep going, high level. Keep going. Don't put James Milner on this sport today. James Milner is old. I don't think Lallana is late 30s. I think Lallana is mid 30s. James Milner haven't stayed on the field for Brighton forever. But keep going.
No, Lallana is 36 years old.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Right.
And he's playing a lot of football.
Coleman.
Wait. Back up. Coleman. No. Coleman, Lallana, and Milner playing a lot of football. Be very careful now. I'm going to put up the stats in. Be very careful. Be very careful.
Let me do this.
Yeah.
Let me do this. Let me do this. Could you ask your question again?
What question? I'm saying, name me 10 players who are playing at a high level on a consistent basis in the Premier League over that late 30s.
You know, we phrased it.
But that's in the context of the question.
Okay, so yeah, let's do this, right?
Yeah.
Because in order for us to be accurate and make sense, research is important. So now that you added playing consistently, it will require some research to go and make sure that we have the minutes that these players are playing and how often they're playing. Right? But there's a long list of players in the mid-30s and above, a long list that is still playing football. Players such as Danny Welbeck, right, who's in his mid-30s. Right?
How old is Danny Welbeck? How old is Danny Welbeck?
He's 35. He's 35 years old.
Okay.
Right? But to be 34 in some days, right? Gundogan.
Wait. 34.
No, I'm just being honest with you.
No, but 34 some days is 35. But keep going.
Yeah.
We said past it. We said late 30s. 34 is not late 30s, people. In fact, it's early 30s. Lucky. No, I said late. You said late 30s. You said late 30s.
No, I cannot meet the criteria if you keep changing, moving the goalposts. Football is not like that.
Okay, so what late 30s is 34.
We started with 30.
Yeah, but the conversation moved, right? To the 10.
Right,
There's a difference between the 10.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. Casemiro is one of them.
Yeah, he's playing every week. I know. I see the 18-year-old playing, but he's playing every week. He must be playing every week because I can't see him. That 18-year-old look like 30, but keep going. May not look like 30, but keep going.
I think the point is this: you cannot dismiss players. It must be about performance. Now, I know you talk about succession planning, and you're absolutely correct. You got to know who's going to replace who. But I don't think a club is going to replace a player just because he's 30 if he's playing well. Chelsea
does that. They did it with William. They've done it with a number of players. Jorginho wasn't playing bad. They got rid of him. If you reach 30, they get rid of you. You get a 1-year contract. No, bye. They did it with a goalkeeper who went back there to work. Did they do it with a goalkeeper? Was it never came to Arsenal? Even with goalkeeper.
You just said no.
But I'm just giving you an example of extreme, right? I don't use goalkeepers because they can keep in their 40s like you see some players do, right? But I'm just saying they did with their goalkeeper, so they're an extreme club. I'm not gonna use them as extreme.
All good teams have a mixture of youth and experienced players.
No, I don't disagree with that, but Jamaica as a they're not youth experienced players. They're old people experienced. I have a few young players in the periphery. Wait, no, none of the young players in the Jamaica team, apart from maybe Lati, are established in the Jamaica team. None of the young players are established core in the team, apart from maybe Lati.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's a combination. Well, locally, we're not doing a good job of bringing through local players. We don't recruit well internationally.
Right. But yet you want to dismiss a 30-year-old who's performing.
I didn't say dismiss them. I'm saying it's a problem how we're going to replace this group of players when we haven't set ourselves up to do so really well. So we want to go on the field and make money. We want to do this, but in the next 4 or 5 years, apart from a couple of players we're seeing, who are they going to be the core of the team when we have a quota system?
It's a year and a half. It's a year and a half from the World Cup, and both you and I want Jamaica to qualify, and Jamaica can't make wholesale changes now. There's too much invested in the players that they have. They should have settled on a roster already, Hopefully they settle on a roster soon. And not
before the game. The coach just tell you that team not good enough. But people, we're not listening to people. McLaren, the team not good enough. That's what he's inferring. That's why you go when we play the US and we get our, handed to us. The coach is saying, I know we're mentioning here about Dexter with 22 caps. Dexter has been playing a lot of football the last year and a half. Last year, Dexter is struggling. He's not playing a lot of football. He's started a house on fire. He's 22 caps, as you said. He's not playing a lot of football. We as a team are not in the best place going forward after the World Cup.
So you said the coach said that the team is not good enough?
I think the coach told us that, but we're not listening. Because
in my humble opinion, I thought the team was progressing well under the previous coach. They had a very solid defensive structure that showed itself when the bronze medal was won in Texas. That was, for me, that was a lot of progress. And then maybe you need to work on the other side of the game if that was his intention, So these guys are playing in the Premier League. These guys are playing in Europe. How could they not be good enough? We won them.
No one talks about what we are saying this because we're not. I don't think. Look, we played the US and it was men against boys.
I saw a video this morning from about 5 months ago when I think it seems as though it was around the time that the coach was introduced, and the person was questioning, is it the right person for the job? I don't know in the region how the roster that you guys have to choose from at the moment. To say they're not good enough, that's struggle. That's difficult to accept. And pressure, I'm not saying that maybe that's what people are saying, but if you play in Europe, at least you're in you're expected to be in a good environment. I'm not saying just because you play in Europe you're good enough. That's not a good argument to make, and I'd never make that. But in your case, you all are saying that you want the players from Europe, and you're saying that the players in Jamaica isn't good enough. Isn't that what you're all saying?
Yes, I'm saying that.
Right.
Yes, I'm saying that. I'm not biting my tongue. I'm saying that. Yes.
Right. So
overwhelming yes.
So do you agree with the coach that the team isn't good enough?
Yes.
So who do you want?
It's not who I want.
You want Declan Rice? I saw him singing reggae music there.
You see him singing reggae music? Everybody singing reggae music. Hey, people. The brand strong enough people because everybody knows sing reggae music nowadays. Some people look different or play some reggae music. They're not going to play reggae music. They play dancer. It used to be the Miller reggae one time, right? Everybody sing Miller reggae. Pure dancer. I don't even understand the patois much less. And them look like them in the patois. So the brand strong, we just got to leverage the brand. And we got to realize that the country is bigger than the 144 by 44, and whatever the number is. It's bigger than that. But we haven't seen to get that to our head as yet. We have the local people on there, with them, I suppose, them nonsense. And me as Kiko talk about, how mad is that? They go and recruit players. What happened to the local players? Skill call, I had to tell you this. We've seen the local players. It's not their fault that they've been poorly coached. But we've seen some of them transition to the national team. They're not at the level that's required. When we played the US, I was at the game. I was embarrassed. I was in a section where myself and one family were the only Jamaicans in the section. And I had on my Jamaican gear. I couldn't even hide it. We never carry no coat with me. After the winter, I had hat. I had shirt. The only thing I was missing was pants. We couldn't hide it. Wait the first. What about 4 love by after? I thought, you know what? I thought it was gonna be like the other 20, I would, but it never worked. I saw Robinson on the left side running up and down, and the coach looked like him last. But he might blame people, now blame himself. People might be right. That may not be the right coach. Coach, I blame everybody but himself. I've been poor strategic game plan, and I blame everybody but himself. Blame yourself too, because you were clueless just like the players. The players were at sea, and the US was just having fun. So when people
squad good enough, you'll have a squad good enough that even if they don't play well, they can qualify out to the region for this World Cup.
No. That's true.
Opinion.
That's true. But as we've talked about before, right? The mindset about just the World Cup is a really myopic view of how you're thinking about the football.
Right.
The World Cup, because I hear a lot of this about nowadays with coaches. The World Cup is a moment. You write that down. It's a moment in the football journey.
Right.
The World Cup's a moment. So when you pass that moment, what you do? If you get the money, what are you going to do? You're going to wait for the moment to occur. And if you're successful, that's when you plan. Or you're going to do the plan now. And you plan for both having the moment and not having the moment.
Well, as you did just during your presentation, you mentioned strategic planning, right? And that's part of the process.
Yeah.
And you have short, medium, and long-term planning. So at the end of the day, you're way advanced than, as you know, than most in the region. And it's a hard argument to make that your team isn't good enough. That's a very difficult argument to make.
You know the worst thing about all of this before the game? You know the worst thing about all of this? You don't have to recreate the wheel.
No, you don't.
Right? Which you know, most times you're trying to do something, you got to go create the wheel. Right. You don't have to go recreate the wheel because the wheel is already there for you to go leverage. Just got to tinker with it. Pull what you can use. Think about your resources you have, what you can and cannot do. You can take what other people have. You can collate it. You can sit down and figure out, you know what works for me, what doesn't, what would make me successful, what won't, and you can execute based on it. So you don't have to go recreate a strategic plan. You can do what the JFF did when they were running for office, which is they go cut and paste something hurried, and you could see that it was cut and paste hurried, but do it much more long-term view.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
And again, even to the people listening, we gotta listen carefully to what I'm saying. We know that Southampton is not doing well in the Premier League at the moment. They're going to be relegated. But did you see Southampton against Man United?
Yeah, I saw the game.
A game that they dominated for 70% of the game, or 80% of the game, and then end up losing it, right? Because apparently they get tired or whatever the case may be. But did you see the coach on the sideline? Obviously, he's a very good coach. But did you see the energy, the commitment on the sideline, the belief in his players, and in the way of playing?
You sound like the Jamaica people who talk about local players are committed, but
no. The point I'm making is it's not always all about the players. The coach have to bring something to the table as well, right?
Yeah, no, that's the case. So wait, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm put you on the spot. Are you supportive of this coach that Jamaica has? No. Two questions. Are you supportive of Trinidad coach? Are you supportive of this coach? Which one is a better coach? Which one is a better coach?
No, I would say I wouldn't run from that. I don't know. I don't know. It's my. Am I in a position to comment on Jamaica's coach?
Yeah, of course you are. You can comment on anything. You don't live in Jamaica. You don't gotta run and hide. Nobody can look for you.
So the Trinidad coach has a lot of experience as a player.
Right.
Right. He knows the football in the region. He knows international football. He played in a World Cup. But there's not a body of work to examine, right? He coached probably 19 games in Australia, and that was it. So it's hard to know what to expect.
But how come you're trying to qualify the World Cup? You get an inexperienced coach to coach your team.
Well, I didn't choose to coach. I'm not responsible for that. The people responsible for that, that's the decision they made.
Okay.
You have a coach that's been around the block, that has a lot of experience. I think when you compare what has happened so far over the past 5 months or whatever the case may be,
yeah,
and you compare what England just had a coach, right? Thomas Tuchel, right? And I think I've seen him at least 4 times in the stadium watching games, scouting players and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. There's not enough. Your coach, what? 1-2 games, tie 2 and lose 2 out of 6 or something like that.
Yeah, he lost 1, right? No, 2 games. 2 games. Lost to the US twice. Yeah, lost to the US twice. Yeah.
Right. So and when you're at 6 games in under the previous coach, I don't think he had lost a game, right? So it's still up in the air. I think the next 2 windows, the next the next 2 windows is going to provide a clear picture.
Right.
You know, you have questioned whether or not there's recruiting going on. I don't know if you got an answer for that. So I don't know. 6 or 1/2 or does not the next. We'll see.
So somebody, so 433 says, Cranky, would you trust Andre to coach Jamaica after Steve?
What did he say? Say it again.
Would I trust you to coach Jamaica after Steve McLaren?
You should say yes.
I cannot answer that question because I'll incriminate myself. It'd be a conflict. It'd be a conflict. And I manage conflicts. I don't manage conflicts. I stay away from conflicts, people. I stay away from conflicts. Can't answer that question. Can't answer that question.
President the troublemaker.
Of course he is. By the way, somebody sent me a list of 10 players. Can't see the first one. I can see the first one. 10 players who are over 35 in the Premier League. The youngest is 35 years old. That's playing in the Premier League? Yeah.
Right,
wait, hold up before you start. Hold up. Let me finish. Give me a chance to talk. You say I cut you off. You know what's consistent about the 10 players, people? Most of them? There are 2 themes on there. 2 themes. So
you cannot use that. You cannot use.
No. I'm getting themes. I know what you're going to say. Wait. I know you don't know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying. You're not going to say. It's just everything.
You're going to start to January 15th.
Wait. Of the 10 players, people, only 1 is a forward. And maybe 2 are midfielders. 3 of the 10 play for the same team. 4 of the 10 are 3 of the 10 are goalkeepers. 1, 2, 3 goalkeepers. And we're using that as a basis to say, and of these 10, Fraser Foster is on the list. We see how well he's played for Tottenham. He's been brilliant. We see, we see the first goalkeeper. I think is West Ham goalkeeper who got replaced and probably just got back in the team. Ashley Young, Seamus Coleman, and Irissa Gay all play for Everton. It's interesting. I wonder if they have to change their coach. Manda Brabka is playing well. He's going to Saudi Arabia to make some money because he can't get out. What's his name? The kid that's hurt. So there ain't nobody here playing Johnny Evans center back. Is Johnny Evans playing consistently?
Yeah, he just up to the area he was until the new manager came
consistently. The manager thinks it's time to go.
Yeah, but you know,
we have over 400 players. You guys come up with 10 and 3 of them are goalkeepers. And the rest are not playing consistently. Come on,
there's more. There's more in the list. There's more.
Like I said before, people over 35, it's time to go to pasture. That's all I'll say about that.
You keep changing the number.
You said late. So what do you call late 30s? What do you call late 30s? What do you call late? No. You answer the question. Late 30s.
We started with 30. We had different.
Different numbers. It was a different conversation at 30. It was a different conversation at 30. You said late 30s. You said late 30s. What do you view to be late 30s? What age group is late 30s?
I think the only thing I said about late 30s is when I mentioned Luka Modric.
Right, but I'm saying the point we're making is this, is that when you reach 30, you're on the other side of your career, period. Now, some people will play longer, like Barry, for example, play for Everton, like Ronaldo, those people play later. But what happened to the Benzimas of the world? They go make money when they get past 30. They go overseas and make some money. The people under 30 are not going to Saudi Arabia. Very few of them going. Unless, the Ivan Tonys who get to like 29, 28, they're like, let me go make some real money. How many brilliant young players are going to Saudi Arabia?
How many what?
Brilliant young players.
That exist?
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yes, we're excellent players.
There's a lot of them.
Really?
There's a lot of them.
Which English one have gone? Which young English player has gone?
Oh, you're talking about English. You're talking about English.
I'm just saying, which very young Spanish player have gone?
Yeah.
Which young German player have gone?
Hold on. I'm not sure I hear you carefully.
Which very young German, Spanish, or English player have gone to Saudi Arabia to play? Very young and brilliant.
Going to Saudi Arabia. No. Sorry, I know the question. I don't know of any. I don't know of any.
Somebody said Gray. I have no comment. Somebody mentioned Diaby. I didn't say French, by the way, but Diaby is young. Yes, Diaby is young. He went for the money. And Gray, when Gray went there, he was fairly young, actually. That's what, 2 years ago. But the point I'm trying to make people is that when you're that young and you're that good, you want to play in a competitive environment. You probably could go there and in 3 years make enough money for your entire career that you're going to make. But people want the competition, right? Because they make enough money to live well. But as they reach 30, they start thinking Saudi Arabia.
And my point is, you have a good squad, and you don't need to change because a guy is 30. If he's performing, he's performing. If you would,
no. I'm not saying you change. What I'm saying is that you have to plan to change. There's a difference.
Right. And a year and a half out of a World Cup, you got to be careful.
No. Look, I didn't say change the World Cup people. What I'm saying is this. I just made a point about when the World Cup done, what you do?
You got to continue to develop. Look, you have a center back. You have a young center back that I think everybody likes. Everybody likes. He's done well for his club. He's done well with some cameo appearances in the senior team. That's a player for the future. I think there's been talk about him leaving Jamaica and go somewhere. I don't know if that happens yet. So that's a player that may have a seat at the table at this World Cup, and but might be prepared for the next one to be a starter. I don't know. He may start in this one, depending on how things shake out, right? But that's a young player. I think you agree. I think you like him. I've heard you talk about him a long time. I'm talking about what's the boy name from Cavaliers?
You're talking about King.
King, yeah, right.
Richard King.
So, yeah, you like him. He's performed well for Cavaliers, not just in Jamaica, but in the Caribbean competition. He's been consistent. He did well playing for the national team, and so that's a player that seemed at the moment to be closer to replacing somebody, right? But right now, if you had a choice, would you replace Ethan Pinnock with him?
No, here's my point. People, here's what we're missing in this conversation. That's why I'd love you to speak, You're missing this conversation, people. People, we should be naming 10, 15 players. We shouldn't be struggling to come up with 2 or 3 players. We should be naming 10, 15 players. I can name 10, 15 players for England right now. 10, 15 young players who are pushing the door for the national team. We should be naming 10, 15 players. We can't.
Yeah,
we're naming one-off player with King here and Dixon here and Whisper when play football in a year. Somebody calling in before the game. So,
all right. Yeah, have them. All right.
All right, cool.
All right, it's next.
All right. Hey, CB, call back CB. Let me call back CB.
Good evening, Cranky.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
How you doing, CB?
Good. I was listening to the conversation with you and the caller before, and I get your point to the fact that when you're on the other side of 30, what is happening is this: World Cup is about 2 years away. So if it's 2 years away, by the time these guys are 30, they'll be 34. So they're not going to be fit enough. If you look at the U.S. game, the U.S. was able to just run by us because our players are aging. And by the 78th minute or so, we were done.
Are they aging or they aged?
Both. Because every day you get older. So you're aging and you're aged.
Yeah.
I think that, the other side of 30, to your point, we need to have some more young blood coming in. I was thinking about this the other day. One of the problems I think we have with the local guys is whenever we come in and we tell them none of the guys are good, I think the guys back home get defensive. Because if you're at your house and someone come and tell you that you're no good, you don't know what you do, the first thing you're going to do is get defensive, and then when you get defensive, you don't listen. In Cranky, what do you think about that?
So my view is this: is that I don't think people are saying. I think we got to be very careful with that word. When people say good, it's just Jamaica way of trying to coming hard and say that thing. Don't good means you're not at the right quality required to perform consistently and well, given the level of competition we're going to compete with. You may be good for the Caribbean, but when you go play against the Costa Ricas and the Panamas, US in the world, you're not at the right level to excel and for us to defeat them. That's what the no good means. We're just using no good as a general term. You may be good in the JPL, you may be good in the Caribbean, but that's not the level that we are requiring for you to excel at an international level. The competition in CONCACAF is those 5 teams we ever talk about, not the Trinidadians anymore, until they get better.
I agree with you, and I think that's the point that I'm trying to make, and you put it eloquently, is because whenever we use the term them no good or nobody in the JPL no good, I think everyone gets in their feelings, and then we don't give them the distinction of what we mean by they're not at the level. Because we know that there's levels to life. Yeah. There's levels to everything. And their level may be at the JPL, and they may be able to play other Caribbean teams. But when you're going to run against the US of the world, where 90% of your teams are playing at very high leagues, then you're going to need this competition. And I think that's what when we're trying to explain them, we need we need diaspora players to come in and learn and be ingratiated, be placed in the team. So over time, they choose Jamaica when they become 21 and 22. Because the way football is today, if you're 19 and you're not at a certain level, your career is pretty much over.
Well, I wouldn't say it's over, but I would agree that you can see the potential, and it's becoming a case where they're taking them earlier and earlier every year, right? The transition from the junior to the senior team. Look at Arsenal, for example. Between the Sakas of the world and the Lewis Kellys of the world, they're taking them young. If they're good enough, they're old enough.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's the nuances. Well, to your point today, you shared a lot of great information that there's one individual's kind of running roadblock into the overall aspect of the football team, and maybe we don't need a football person. Maybe we just need a person who have foresight and can organize to put, who can think big, for lack of a better term, to put us where we need to go. Because I think, to your point from your earlier presentation, which is clear, there's one person maybe blocking it, or several individual, let's say, who's blocking the progress. And there's also, when you block the progress, individuals don't get the information they need to make the proper decision.
The problem in Jamaica is they need people at all levels. They need to move some people out of the football and move in some people with much more futuristic thinking. They just do. Go ahead, sorry.
But I don't know how they don't get it, because Manning's man went in, things change. Simon is probably by far one of the biggest leaps they make, and we don't want to make it bad for Simon by calling up his name. But Simon has made such a great leap in how we see the press conference today, and and that's young blood. So I don't understand why
there are levels to this thing. We keep saying people who say there's levels to this thing. Not to beat the previous person, they did their best job, but there's levels to things in life. There are levels, right? There are levels, and if you're not at the level to compete at the highest level, then you have to be replaced. Go find something to do that matches your skill set. Simon has come in and lifted that place 120% easily. He did it before he even start trying. Now he's trying. He's going to be 10 times better. It's very obvious.
I agree.
And he's young too. He's what, 31 years old? He's a baby.
Yes.
In my eyes, anyway.
He has vision. He has foresight. He's adaptable.
But the point we're making is that it's new blood. We had old blood there for a long time, not doing anything. Can't even put two sentences together. We're bringing some new blood. They have a new marketing officer. She's 25 years old. Comes across really well. Let's hope she executes like how she speaks. You need new blood sometimes. The same old people doing the same old thing. Get up, go to work, go back home. No ingenuity, nothing creative. And we allow them to function that way. They need to move on. Put people in, and they create these barriers where nobody overseas can get no role. That they give them a 10-year requirement. Go find the people in Jamaica and then go run things.
So let me be devil's advocate for a second. What happens if come midsummer we fail to qualify? What happens?
Well, the world doesn't stop. The world keeps going.
No, I agree. The world don't stop. But in our world of Reggae Boys football, what's the fallout of it? What is the fan? Let's ask the question: what is the fallout come end of the year going into 2026? We don't qualify for the World Cup. What does that look like? Who pays the consequence for this?
Nobody. You have to understand, it's a clique and it's an oligopoly, right? There are very few people who run the football in Jamaica. The people who run the football has garnered the support of the parish presidents. The parish presidents are part of the process and part of the problem. And so therefore, if you have that small group that control most of the votes, that can get the 28 votes they need, why do they care about anybody else? These are the ones they're trying to appease. They're the ones they're trying to support. That's what they're comfortable with. So the JPL teams, the parish presidents, and the JFF run things. That's how it works. Now, some people are saying replace them, but the parties they were trying to replace them with, I wasn't supportive of because I don't think they would do anything better than what is being done here. But that's a fact. That's not debatable. And the problem we have is those people want to maintain their position because it's a nice place to be, and they're not thinking about the country. They're not thinking about what you can do for the country. You're thinking about what the country can do for them. It's a fact.
So this is doom and gloom. So because we can't replace Ricketts because his counterpart is just as worse, is worse than he is.
Yeah.
So if we don't make it, we just go back to the same cycle, the same everything. We quotas and players trying to be sold. So this will never change because there's no one going to challenge them because no one lives there 10 years with the foresight. So therefore, if nothing happens, there's no fallout. We can't put anyone in because the counterpart is worse. This is not good.
Here's the contradiction. Yeah, here's the contradiction with quotas, people. So I'm going to force you to the national team, even though you're not good enough. You can't compete with people we're competing against. Then you're going to try to compete with the same people for positions out there in the real world. Good luck. Good luck. And good luck to the national team.
I think I don't drink, but I think I'm wanting to drink when you think about this long term because we're doomed. Because if we don't make it, normally in a corporate environment, if you don't hit your numbers, we replace you with someone better or someone who has a different foresight.
Yeah.
So there's no one to replace them. So even if we don't make it, there's no challenge to this. You can always do what you do because there's no one that's going to come and say, you know what, you need to move out of your seat and give someone else a chance because there's no one else.
It's funny. I used to work for a company that had a 5% turnover every year. So, and a lot of these were not voluntary turnovers. So in a 20-year period, the entire company would have turnover, right? Doesn't really happen that way, but that's the concept. Because you want to replenish what you have with continuous trying to source intellectual capital, new intellectual capital. Capital is going to help you as a company think differently, work differently, operate differently. You can't have the same people doing the same thing, and then you don't see any productivity from those people. You see no ingenuity from those people. See no innovation from them, and they're still in the role doing the same thing, collecting their paycheck. And how are you going to make progress?
Yeah. So I'll leave you with this one story. I hope someone is listening from the JFF and understand this. Amazon is not a new concept. Amazon is using the model that Sears and these American companies. There was a big story in America outside of America. They are the one that started selling everything under one umbrella. Sears, in my opinion, never had young people on their board. That's why they died. Amazon took the model of Sears and turned it into $1 billion company. Sears had no foresight. Amazon had foresight because it's the same model, but
right.
One is making money and one went out of business.
You know what's funny about that? Sears was acquired by a venture capitalist, right?
Yeah.
And they ran it into the ground, which is a very strange because venture capitalists are the ones who find a lot of these new companies. So not every venture capitalist is excellent what they do, even though you can afford to have 10 bad deals and 2 good ones they do really well. But they were bought by venture capitalists. They took private and they messed it up. But you're right in terms of a lot of these models that people employ that do really well, because the internet didn't start with Google. AOL was there before. No, Yahoo was there before. Google came on board, did a better job. That's how it works.
Netscape was there before.
Netscape was there before. Yes, all those companies was there before. So yeah, totally agree.
And Jamaica no film. Them no film. The reason why Kodak is out of business is because they invented digital camera, but they put it on the shelf. So it's just like having diaspora players. You have great players, but you keep putting them on the shelf. And when it comes down to it, your company is going to go under.
I can't disagree with that perspective, actually.
Yeah. All right, Frankie, I want to have the line.
Yeah,
before I go, my daughter is a big fan of yours. She sit with me in the evening time, and she loves the show, and she just want to say hi. Say hi.
Hello, right, good night. Yes, I love them young people. Yeah, but good night. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. All right, thanks.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right. So people have to keep it clean, and I
Wow.
can't say anything. I can't say anything that's terrible. I know we have such a youngster watching, actually. I thought we're just old people watching this program. That's why. That's interesting. But I appreciate that, CB, and thanks for you and your daughter watching, people. CB, you need to watch on 2 devices, though, so we can get more views. You're probably both watching the same device. If we have people watching the same household, watch that 2 device, so we can double the views, people. That's how you mark it. But no, that was good. That was good. Good call, CB. I appreciate it. No, people, look, I mean, we've been saying this for years now, right? And it's not happening. That's a problem Jamaica suffer with, people. It's not just the footballer now. Determined. I'm gonna put the number up. It's the number determined. It's run across the stream. 347-728-8625. What time is it? It's 10:30 already. So I've been on for 2.5 hours. I'll close it down soon, though. But I did spend people. You don't know how much time it takes to put them presentations together. I'll stop to them still. I'll just come on and wing it like maybe some people do. Just come on and just talk off the top of my head. Don't do no research. Don't do no work. We just come talk because it takes too much time and days and days and days. Yeah, cut it and slice it. Especially not totally familiar with all the tools that one uses. Because I was telling somebody today when I was in corporate, my staff used to give me if I try to do PowerPoint or do anything, they would pressure me not to do it. They'd be like, "Why are you doing that? You're not supposed to be doing that. We'll do it for you." And I would be like, "But I need to learn how to do some of these things." Well, now you're truly paying the price because I ain't got no staff. I gotta learn to use some of these tools that I know tangentially, but not in depthly. So, not a good look. Not a good look, people. Not a good look. Has to work on that. Determine if you call in. Let me call in. Determine and let's get those over with so we can go retire and eat late. You know the worst thing I realized about YouTube? I'm eating late because of YouTube. Like I never go eat after 7 p.m. when I was working. Good night.
Cranky, good night.
Good night. How you doing?
I'm good. About yourself?
I am doing well. I'm doing well.
Well, Cranky, you know what? Since I was a child, Cranky, this has been going on, right? And now I'm 40 years old, right? From then to now, nothing has changed. The program is still the same. The program is still corrupt. The program is still behind. So it's just like, Cranky, you have stocks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you look at the health fitness of certain stocks, right? The projection of where stocks are going. For instance, Tesla, right? You say, all right, I can make some money from Tesla based on the projection of, where it's coming from to where it's heading, right?
Yeah.
How can I put my faith in this organization when it's just the numbers are still the same from then to now? What has changed?
Well, no, they have made some improvements, right? So let's think about that statement and really assess it, as I've shown in the discussion tonight. So they've had a lot of problem challenges in the past. In fact, even when they made the World Cup, it wasn't that great, to be honest. I think in the last 3 years, because you've got to remember when the national team, the men's team, had a lot of problems with the GenSec. They changed the GenSec, brought Dennis in. You really hear, and then they brought in Manning's men and Simon and some other people. You really hear a lot of people about players being dissatisfied, except for Bailey, for example, in this situation, right? I think that's a one-off and tangential. Even though some of the players will tell you that professionalism is not where it probably needs to be in terms of how things operate operationally, not necessarily how people engage, right? Secondly, you see them putting much better controls around the finances, which people are concerned about, and which people talk about integrity there, but people don't have any evidence, but they say there's integrity issues because they sort of equate it to the larger Jamaica. And you see them putting a lot of controls there, processes, policies, initiatives to effectively manage their finances. And you can see that the finance is working in some respects, given things like the Adidas deal, given how money has been spent.
How do you see that it's working?
Well, I do a comparison with Trinidad, for example. I probably have more information that I probably should have, but Jamaica can support itself. Well, it's working in terms of look at the financial statements. Look at 22 financials, look at 21 financial, look at 23 financial. It's going the right direction, right? In terms of surplus and or in terms of the balance sheet, in terms of where the numbers are going. Secondly, you see more sponsors going on board. The Adidas contract is a big contract. You see the more recent Gage receipts money. You see them trying to do things on social media and try to subscription, even though they're too high. So you see them trying to broaden their revenue generation strategy to bring more income in to support the program. You see them winning, and when they win money, like prize money, as they did it for in the Nations League and in the Copa, it helps. Go ahead.
All right. So, I see you. I agree with everything that you just said. You're right. You're trending in the right direction, right? So now, let's talk about the Genset came out saying that they have a better outlook than last year, from last year to now, right? So my question is, why are we still struggling to bring players from the diaspora, right? And why are we struggling to bring senior players, right? If we have if the money is there, what's the issue?
They're not. So
right?
There's two things. So we got to bifurcate the national teams from the grassroots development process, which I think is still nowhere it needs to be. So the national teams may do well, and you may be able to supplement the national team with diaspora players, but some people say it's not sustainable. It's sustainable for a while, but the model has to be more broader and more holistic, right? They're not struggling to bring players anymore. They're not struggling to bring players anymore. They may not want there's a difference between me struggling to bring players and me not wanting those players. Me wanting local players. There's a big difference. They're not struggling to bring players anymore. They're bringing players. They're flying charter jet. They're not even flying commercial anymore. For World Cup qualifiers and Nation League, they're flying charter. Charter is a lot of money. I can tell you, a lot of money to fly charter.
So all we're concerned about is just the senior team, right?
No, but that's the point I'm making, which is we have to look broader and deeper and say, how are you going to fund with human capital your teams through the ranks? How are you going to fund? Now, they're trying to do the TDS program for the under 14, and everybody will tell you about they win the Caribbean stuff, and I keep telling them, I don't want to hear about no Caribbean thing you won because it's not the competition. So the TDS program that they have with FIFA, they're also funding that, right? So yeah. Go ahead.
But Cranky, this is what I'm saying to you. It's still the same old play. Nothing has changed, Cranky.
No, but you can't say nothing has changed.
Cranky, let's be honest. Let's be honest, right? If you look at the senior team, men's team has always managed to somewhat get what they want, right?
Yeah.
In certain extent, they always try to meet the barrier, at least 90%, right? For me, it's like they're doing this Band-Aid mechanism right now, right? It's not the perfect fit, or nothing is perfect, but this is not trending in the direction where it's supposed to trend, as in we're supposed to have a healthy program, right? We're supposed to be building from within, right? And expanding out, right?
Yeah.
If you look at when we won the World Cup, right? That's where everything should have turned around for us, but we squandered the money. Up to now, we don't know where that money went, right? When I look at a program that's saying that the health fitness is up to par, right? It's like it's like your body. You're building muscles, but you're not working on your brain. The brain also has muscles in it, right? It's like we're brain dead. We don't make bold moves. We don't make conscious moves, right? Where I can say this program is serious. Cranky, if we are saying that we're trending in the right direction, right? You need to engage. First of all, the national stadium. What are we going to do, right?
But that's not the JFF though, right? That's the government, right?
But don't the JFF plays in the national stadium?
Yeah. But I'm saying they don't own the stadium, so the facilities and improvement and enhancement and renovations are the responsibility of the Jamaica government.
But that's what I'm trying to say to you, Cranky. when you are a responsible body that says that, you know what, now we have a little bit of muscle, now we can go in. Before we didn't have any kind of, you know, when I'm going in to negotiate for my different contracts, I can go in confident because I know I did a good job last year. I can go in and ask for what I want. And if I don't get what I want, I still can go to somebody else and I can talk how I want to talk because I have everything that they need, right?
Right.
Or come close to it. Now the JFF have a little bit of muscle according to them, right?
Yeah.
You hold the government accountable. Hey, what y'all gonna do? If you guys are not going to be able to make sure the field and the stadium is up to par, right? I'm going to move these games to Florida. You can't lose. I'm going to move it to New York. You can't lose. You're still going to make money. You understand what I'm saying? Because ultimately, that's what it's about. Yes, we're going to disappoint the home crowd, but our president must have these kind of vision.
Yeah, but determine you gotta be very so determine.
Direction.
Here's the problem that you run into with that, whereby the president is elected by a body that's local. They gave no overseas people the ability to vote. So just like the local elections in Jamaica, if you're gonna say I'm gonna do this, it's at your detriment. That means you're just trying to lose the election next time around. We're gonna say you're not catering to the local fans, and you have people like Tracy and all of them who's gonna just destroy you, and they have public airwaves to work in. So it's hard to do that. Right?
But Cranky, this is his last year. He's about to retire. He's about to get his monthly payments. People's paying him for the rest of his life. Now is the time to talk as much as you want to. Now is the time you can be bold because you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, I'm not going to agree with that, actually. I think you have to live on the island still. It's easy for us overseas to keep stakes. It's a different stuff when you live in that environment and to deal with the people who are there. But it's a different. That's why some people, not everyone may support quota, but they have to say they support quota because they live in Jamaica and it's being local. Cranky, not everybody support quota.
And that's why I say I can't agree. Cranky, you come from a Fortune 500 companies, man.
Yeah.
Some of these decisions that these companies make, even with the board, if the board doesn't get on board, sometimes you have to go against the grain, right?
Yeah.
When for instance, look at Trump that's about to come in. I guarantee you, as soon as this man step foot in office, he's going to have executive orders all across the board. He's going to do a lot of
they already started, so yeah.
Exactly. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This man has nothing to lose. This is his last 4 years. What I'm saying is this. We have already seen this playbook, Cranky. Nothing has changed. You're saying that they put this person in place, that person in place. They don't control the purse. They don't control a damn thing. Let's be real about it. Yes, they're doing their job. But when it's all said and done, where the control is, that's still the same.
No, look, I do think the problem is, as I mentioned before, is this small group of people who control most things, and they are in it for themselves. And look, most people are not going to sacrifice themselves for the larger good. That's not humanly innate. Some people do it because they see the big picture and they're patriotic. A lot of these people are not patriotic. When you're patriotic, you make patriotic decisions. When you're about you're going to make you a decision. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of people on that board needs to acquiesce their position and that somebody new, young, with vitality, intellect, come in to revitalize or vitalize the program. The way it's constructed now, it's not a good thing. Do like me, people. Some of you just go retire like I did.
All right. If you look at how the program is going, they're trying to set up Speed to be the next president. And I'll be damned. Right?
Speed's not gonna be the next president.
Well, that's from what it seems like. He's running the federation right now.
Yes. I can't dispute that one.
But this is what I'm saying.
I can't dispute that.
All I can do is look at the crank. It's just like you, Cranky. Where do I know you from? I don't know you from anywhere. Right? All I can look at is what Cranky has done from when he started to now. And that's how I judge Cranky.
Okay.
Right? So I don't know Speed from anywhere. I don't know the president from anywhere, but I have to look at your track record. And it's not good. And based on how everything is shaping up, the president, he doesn't even exist. It's Speed. So now how can I say that he doesn't want to be the next president? I can't say that because everything is showing, pointing in that direction.
Yeah, look, people are silent. The people say he wants to be the next head coach. He wants to be the next president. I don't view it that way, but I do think, look, I like the president. I've said that numerous times. I just think he's a lovely person, but I don't think he holds people accountable. I don't think he operates like a leader in the facet that I think he should in a lot of respects. I don't think he exerts his authority like he should. And to me, that's concerning. Now, I've been around leaders like that who are non-confrontational. They take the easy way out. I've been around people who, if you know in the environment who they are, you'd be like, wow, they're like that. They're very prominent people in society and they've done really well. And I've seen them and worked around them. They avoid confrontation like it's the plague. But the problem you have with that is some things don't get done because people are then going to overstep their boundaries. They're going to do things they're not held accountable and it doesn't help you. So the president, to me, like, for example, the whole concept of the conflict, the president owns that. That's not just Speed. That's the president. The people would want the president to address it. There are people in the organization who want the president to address it. He's not addressing it. And I think the president is a lovely person. But if you're going to be president, then you have to operate like a president.
But that's what I'm saying, Cranky. I don't. We have to change. It's not the president per se, right? It's the mindset that we have. Is the president a human being? Yeah, I can say that he probably is. But a decent human being is not what they voted him to be in the position. A decent human being cannot change what's going on now. You're put in that place to do your job. And in my eyes, has the president failed? Yes, he's failed a long time ago.
I don't think he's failed because I think he assumed a lot of baggage when he took the role. People don't realize how much baggage he assumed. And if you know all the inside information, people, it's ugly. But I think he has an opportunity to really set his legacy up, to really establish a legacy. And I think he's losing some of that opportunity to do so. And he's losing it because he's not operating as well as he should. Huh?
I can't believe he just said that.
Yeah, he took over. I ain't gonna call it garbage. He took over something which wasn't fit for purpose.
But Cranky, if you are, it's like me, right? I come in, these people give me the whole dock, a couple of docks is mine. I do what I want. I bring in my own team, right?
Right.
If I'm going to take over a position and I'm not going to use this person or that person, or fine, even if they're there and I want to give them a shot, no problem. But when it's all said and done, the responsibility is on me. I'm the president. I'm not a vice president. I'm the president, right? And if your workers that's around you, because that's exactly what they are. They're working for you. If they're not getting the job done, guess what? You fire them. You don't negotiate anything. They're not moving the damn.
Yeah, but I hate to say this, but some people don't realize sometimes that who you are as a person, your personality, your emotional intelligence, sometimes you need that contract to work with you to get things done because it's not in your disposition to be a certain way, right? So if you had a combination, for example, of the conflict master and the president as one, you'd have a really great president. I'm telling you, one who's just a decent human being, want to do the right thing, don't want confrontation, want everything to work seamlessly, is approachable, is just a person you want to engage with. I've met him. I'm telling you, and I've talked to people who are very negative on some of the people in the organization, and they basically would say the same thing that I'm saying. Need to be stronger, nicest person ever. Charisma, you would love to engage with him, but he got to be stronger in his role. Got to be stronger. Well, and it's not going to happen because I don't think he's in the disposition to be stronger. He's not in the disposition.
But that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. He lost. He's a lame duck. Like, it's done. It's over. Like, his for him to move to have any chance in order to be a successful president, he had to get rid of a few bad apples around him, and he didn't do that. The program is still the same. So this is what I'm saying to you. That's why I can't believe that you actually say that. Yeah, he's charismatic. He's all of the above. But guess what, Cranky? We have, according to them, we have 3 million people that live in Jamaica. And we have how much abroad? 11 million, they said, or 13 million?
No, it's
right?
probably about the same, similar 3 million. It's not 13.
All right, okay, fine, similar 3 million. But Cranky, guess what? We have at home and abroad, we have some of the most intelligent beings on this earth. Jamaicans are very intelligent. Over here, they're in high positions, right? This is what I'm saying, Cranky. We have to have that foresight to change things if we're saying that we want change, right?
Yeah.
And when you see certain things, that it's like a revolving door that's going on and on and on. I don't care how charismatic you are, you're not doing your job, period.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think what the president has done, actually, so he's done some things. So that's why I give credit where credit's due. So he brought in Dennis Chung, right? Whether it was pushed or forced, or I wouldn't say forced, but at least he identifies somebody who is been in the corporate environment in Jamaica, who knows what good governance look like, who knows what good process look like. And he has come in and made what I call material changes around the most important assets of the corporation, which is their finances, which is a good thing. Now, in terms of the football, yes, we can be feeling good about the national team and how they're doing. But when you look beyond that, when you pull away the shade and talk about grassroots football and youth football and local football and women's football, locally, the future is not bright. Now, whatever they're doing in the TDS program, make all get excited, it's still not bright. Because you don't understand, grassroots mean you build from the bottom up. You go in the communities, you go across the island, you figure out a way to enhance the infrastructure, figure out a way to have a lot of kids playing football, both women and both girls and boys. You have leagues, you have construct, you have support, and you build all the way up so they can funnel up to the teams, and you have a pathway. You do the same thing you keep doing every single year. You leverage high school football, you get the same outcome. We've never produced a world-class footballer, and it won't happen in the next 20 years if we keep going the same way.
And that's what I'm saying to you. We have been cheating the system. If you look at the senior team, we have been filling in the gap.
Yeah.
And filling in the gap from then to now. Back then, yeah, we had quite a few players that can hold their own, but now it's exceeding what we did from then to now. It gotten worse.
Yeah, well, if we make the World Cup, I think people think that all's going to be happy, and people don't realize that you make the World Cup, you got to live after the World Cup. So, yes, you want to make the World Cup. We all want to go to the World Cup, but yeah.
But Cranky, that's what I'm trying to say. The thing is, if we make the World Cup based on the leaders that we have, so far I haven't seen an agenda, right? For if we make the World Cup, what's the agenda as far as how are we going to input some of these monies and everything else, right? This is where I'm worried, because if I'm looking at the leadership and the leadership being irresponsible, what's the outcome? It's going to be the same thing, Cranky. It's not going to change.
It may not, but my hope is, well, look, I mean, I've said that tonight, which is the strategy, a comprehensive strategic plan need to be put in place that considers implications of not making the World Cup and making the World Cup, and then how you take that plan to move the football forward. Right now, it's a more reactive strategy to me than a holistic, comprehensive, well thought out strategy. And I'll end with that. Determined. And it's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. So it's 11 o'clock.
I'm about to get off now. I agree with what you just said, right? We have always been a reactive federation. We don't set trends. We don't make bold moves, right? And as a president, again, that supposedly right now is financially stable, right? You have a track program that is in need of a stadium as well. This is the time where you collaborate with both the track program and the federation and have some muscles on the island. If you can't get it there, you go overseas. Beg for the money, do what you need to do.
But I also got to think about something which I think is important. I don't think the football community and the JFF are as influential in Jamaica as they need to be to accomplish some of the things that you're suggesting.
But whose fault is that, again, Cranky?
Well, you got to have people in place with the know-how and the knowledge and the upside to be able to accomplish that.
Cranky, guess who we have on our team? You know, do you ever heard this young lady by Kadisha Bunny Shaw?
Yeah.
Do you know this young man by the name of Leon Bailey? Ethan Pinnock? This one that just got an accident the other day.
Michael Antonio, yeah.
Michael Antonio. Do you know how influential these people are? So it's a shame for my the financial advisors that come out and talk about how broke our program is a couple of months ago. You should be ashamed of yourself. You have assets that's running up and down the girls and the boys team.
Well, I would say this, which is there's a lot to be done. We'll see what happens, but I'm encouraged by some of the things that they're doing. I'm discouraged by some of the things that they're not doing.
Well, I ended as this, Cranky. I'm not encouraged on anything that they're doing. Only one. Let me take that back. When it comes to educating these coaches on the island,
right,
I'm very encouraged by that, because that's a start in the right direction to build the future in that country. But education also comes with developing as far as the proper fields, the proper equipment. But it's a start, and I can give that to them. But everything else is still the same. Nothing has changed.
All right, Determined. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
All right, Cranky. Have a good night. Thanks for the show.
You too. Look, I understand Determined's perspective. It's his. I think some things have changed and continue to change. But I, as I've suggested in the discussion I've had earlier, when you're trying to evaluate and determine direction of travel you're trying to go, you have to leave no stones unturned. You have to do a holistic assessment of the program. What are all the factors that inform the program, the key categories, the key areas? You have to assess those areas. You have to assess where you are and where you want to go. And you have to figure out a way to get there. And some things are going to be hard to, because you can't do everything at once. Achieve, you prioritize them and figure out which ones you can accomplish and which one you can make material inroads in, and others which may be more challenging. Right now, I'm not seeing that strategic thought process and plan in place. I know they have plans, but that comprehensive document, I keep telling people, go. You hear me talk about Spain a lot, people, because I look at programs which are very, very successful on a sustainable basis. You go back from 2010, even before that, because they win the 2010 World Cup before that, to now, it's only one direction. We're talking the last, 16 years and going, and that program only going in one direction, people. They may not always win everything, but they're winning a lot because they have a plan. And even when they have their own issues with their women's team, they go to the World Cup with a lot of women not in the team, they still win. They had problems with their FAs and they still win because they have a structure. They have processes. They have grassroots football. They have system of play and style of play. They have the best coaches in the world and the most qualified coaches in the world in numbers and in actuality. So there's a lot there to work on. And when we're building relationship, we talk about we're going to deal with Trinidad. We did Trinidad. We're going to Trinidad. Trinidad is a very good country. Has lost its way somewhat. But expand your remit. Can't keep talking to the same people 24/7. Go talk to somebody else. When you go to a conference, what do you always tell you? Make sure you come back with the card for about 10 people. Don't go talk to people you're comfortable with. Here's my last point, people. In life, in general, you should try to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Let me repeat that. In life, in general, get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Because when you do that, it means you can work outside your normalized environment. It means you can take risk. It means you can effectively manage risk. Keep doing the same thing every day, get the same outcome. You get way in the corner, talking the same nonsense. I listened to a program today. I was listening to a program the other day, and I stopped listening to it because they have the one topic they've talked to like 2 months straight, and people call and talk about the same topic. When the hell do you get bored about the same thing over and over and over? This is not like me trying to talk about conflicts or quote and trying to change it. That's a different story. They're talking about some topic, you're just sitting here shaking your head like, we're still talking about that? Really? After like 2 months? About a thing nobody can win because it's very subjective? But that's the thought process, people. And that's how Jamaica football functions sometimes. Same people doing the same thing and over again. So anyway, let me just say this. Thanks for being here. I appreciate being here. I've now gone my 3 hours because it's 11 o'clock. I intend to be here for 2. Yeah, and as Granera says, hit 3 more likes to get to the 100 people. But I appreciate you being here. It's been a challenge trying to get this program done. I will be back on Monday. I was going to do something this weekend, but I decided not to. Monday, I'm talking paternity. Monday, I'm talking promiscuity. Monday, I'm talking jacket. Monday, I'm asking whose child is it? Come join me Monday, people. I've got to prepare for that presentation there and the discussion there. It's presentation format, because I like presentation format. And some probably video and some pictures. A little bit different in terms of how the presentation would be, but we got to do some presentation because we always talk about them things. We always like to leave something for the audience. Not just come here and talk, but leave something. So join me Monday, but it's on Balance View channel. I'm not going to play it on Cranky Live. Balance View channel, talking about jackets, talking about promiscuity, talking about paternity, talking about DNA. You know, I even had a song on that I wrote like 2 months ago, and I forgot it. I'm going to pull it out. And I pull out the song we write on DNA, which we can't find it. Not DNA, but on paternity. I need a beat for it. Somebody drop me a beat so we can DJ my song, people. Drop me a beat. Drop me a beat so we can DJ my paternity song. What did Peter Mystic saying? What's a Jamaica, Peter? Gemini said, Cranky, the Sunshine Girls are starting to come home. Yeah, I noticed that 2 of them are in the national team, aren't they? We still start crying quota, you know. Hey, tell you something, Jeremy. You still say the quota thing for the national women's team, you know, because but the girls are competitive on a global basis. So the local players are competitive globally. It's not like the Sunshine Girls can't compete. They're with the New Zealand and the Australia were always very good, and England. But yeah, see a couple of the girls, one come on and another one come. And they must be very good to get in that team because Jamaica team is very good. See, people, that's where you build up your local team and they have ability and they compete on the global stage. So when people come in now, you know, and fight to say, you know, see you're good, right? You know, see you're good. So anyway, Monday, people, we'll have some good discussion. People, if you haven't subscribed to my Balance View channel, please do so because Monday should be a hot show. And people who can call in Monday. And people, if you know anybody who has had paternity challenges and have been on the wrong side of paternity outcome, bring them to the show. We can talk about it. We want to share stories. It's a family affair, people. I call it Jacket Day. Jacket Monday. Jacket Monday. It's a family affair for Jacket Monday, people. So come Monday. Should be a good conversation because most of us probably know somebody who get a jacket. And if you don't, just look around you in your family. Somebody in your family a jacket. Nothing. So now at Jamaica, look around, don't look too far now. Somebody in your family a jacket. Now, jackets may be a derogatory term. Let me rephrase that. Somebody in the family, paternity-wise, was not supposed to be the son or daughter of someone in the family, but they were that way. Now, we won't talk about that. And what do you do after that, right? We're going to talk about all of that, people. Hey, people, it's a good show Monday now. Come join the show. All right? Bless up. Thanks, everyone. Good night. See you Monday. Not on this channel, on my Balance View channel. Go subscribe. Peace out. Cranky Life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk and it's free, yo. Cranky Life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Cranky Life, kill them. Cranky Life, eat them. Cranky Life, want them. Cranky Life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose because Cranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Cranky Live, kill them. Cranky Live, heed them. Cranky Live, warn them. Cranky Live. Cranky Live where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Cranky Live, get to know the name because Cranky analysis is never lame. Cranky Live, give me my Cranky Live. I want my Cranky Live. Must have my Cranky Live. Whether it's football or track and field, you know Cranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Cranky Live. Kill them, Cranky Live. Heed them, Cranky Live. Warn them, Cranky Live. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Cranky Live. Tune into Cranky Live. Like up Cranky Live. Subscribe to Cranky Live. Cranky Live coming to you on weekdays. Cranky Live sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Cranky will always bring the heat. Cranky Live. Me say fi tell them Cranky Live. Me say fi heed them Cranky Live. On them Cranky Live. Cranky Live will be around. Cranky Live is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Live. Cranky Live. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Live. Cranky Live. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Live. Cranky Live. Cranky. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed, want, heed them.